Madness Podcast, the best of the underground. Make madness your ritual.
Hey, Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 150, hanging out with a room full of crazy people. Thanks for joining us. Do me a favor, check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, there's a multitude of links that you can connect with us. iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Do me a favor, download the Listen to My Radio app. That's LISTEN, the number 2, My Radio, and search Ritual Madness Podcast. Bookmark it, and you can check out our station all the time. We'll do these live casts on Fridays, usually. Amazon link right below there's a little Amazon link. Click that Amazon link. Every time you buy something from Amazon, it will kick us back a couple pennies at no cost to you. If you are in a band or have friends that are in bands and want to submit your stuff to the podcast, please do. Ritual Madness Podcast at Gmail. That's Ritual Madness Podcast at gmail.com. Thank you. And if you want to check out a really cool podcast as well, DOTWpod.com as well. And don't forget to check out the Root of All Evil radio show on KFAI's Fresh Air Radio. Let me see here. Is that all we got? That's all we got. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do there. All right. So this podcast is a recap of last week's first annual Metty Awards festival deal here. And Bill, want to grab the microphone? You're right there, huh? And Mr. Bill, you put this thing together. How did that all come to be, sir? Tell me what your thoughts were behind all of that.
I just figured, it was time to kind of start recognizing some of the bands that are working their asses off around here, which, we all know that there was some heat for this in the beat once it was actually announced. But I thought it was time that, we have to, just do something to help bring the scene together a little bit more and just try to get everybody to start working together. Right.
Now, so when you were on the podcast before, if people don't know, Bill runs a site on Facebook that's called Metalsota. And what you do is basically, you said it the night of the show, you push names.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So you basically support the bands that are in the scene that you enjoy. You go out and you check out a ton of fucking bands all the time.
Yep, as much. I try to get out as much as I can just to, obviously to support, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So, buy merch, fucking push. Yep. There's been a ton of times where after we did the podcast here, you contact me and said, hey, you got to check out this band. Make sure you check out this video. Make sure you check this band out. Get a hold of their stuff. Book them on the podcast. And there's been several fucking bands that I have had on the podcast since. And that's basically what it's all about. And what we've done since the podcast is we've connected on a ton of different levels. And so the idea of the Mettys, I thought, was a brilliant idea. I don't know. It's something in the Twin Cities. The opening statement of the show was, we're known for Prince and the time and Husker Du and fucking Alex Chilton and this, that, and the other thing. But our metal scene has always been rock solid. There's always been great bands. From, I started playing in the late 80s here, you know what I mean? So it's like, I've seen a ton of bands come and go. And, there has never been, City Pages did some shit. The Minnesota Music Awards, they grab the top tier bands at all times, you know what I mean? And pull them in, just as nominations and nominees and whatever. But nothing has ever been focused on the underground itself. So I thought it was a brilliant idea, man. And, as far as getting the things going, how did you end up picking the Amsterdam? How did you end up, putting shit together?
We figured Amsterdam because it was, I was definitely hoping for the room, obviously. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. It definitely turned out the way I had hoped it would turn out. But, it was just, I don't know, I came up with a lot of the bands that are around the area.
Right.
Obviously I picked them all. A lot of people are pissed about that.
Sure.
But, even when you get, if you throw a committee together, like I did for voting, but if I throw a committee together that's going to pick bands, of course everybody's going to pick their one band that they pick too.
Sure. Well, let's kind of go over that. So the way it was structured is you basically named a committee of people. Who did you all pull in the committee?
Yeah, I just kind of went with throughout the whole scene kind of. Obviously we went with you, Langan, Bobby, Will. I had Jess. She's a tattoo artist. She goes to a ton of shows, and she's always been, a big supporter of the local scene here.
Where's she tattoo at?
She's at the Hybrid Tattoo.
Super quiet chick, right?
Yep.
Super
Yep.
Dude,
Yeah,
she freaked me out, man. She came up and we started talking, and she's like, gorgeous, right? You know, and we're talking, and like her guy friend is just sitting there like looking at me, and he's all quiet, and she's like, hey, how's it going? You did a good job, you know. And I'm like, hey, thanks, you know. And I'm all like stoked because this was a great fucking night. Everybody had a great time. Yeah. I was drinking whiskey and, you know, eating candy and fucking getting crazy, you know. And you know, she was super cool. She knew a ton of bands. Yep. Like everything we brought. I mean, she was bringing up bands like, oh yeah, this band should have been nominated and da 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 da. She's like, she said exactly what we all had kind of determined that, you know. So you put these people together.
Yep.
To do the voting.
Yep.
So you hand selected all the bands that you felt through seeing the shows, through picking up their CDs, seeing them work hard as far as touring and putting shows together. So that was the gist of how you got them all together.
Yeah. You know, bands that are throwing out videos, they're working on videos this year, and I mean just all sorts of new EPs, new albums, just bands that are busting their asses right now.
Sure.
You know, I mean, obviously you're gonna bust your ass, you're gonna get, you get rewarded for it. And that's, kind of how I felt with it, with what I did, with how I picked everybody.
Sure. Now, I mean, right away from the very get-go, everybody was, I mean, and I won't say everybody, but there was a good handful of people, I mean, Bobby can attest to how it goes being in the scene all together. It's like a handful of people will fucking sling mud at you.
Yep.
And we all know you could do the best show of your entire life, and maybe, the handful of people will remember it. But if you do something bad or say something bad, instantly motherfuckers are all over that shit, wanting to sling shit. So how do you feel about people hating on it right away as far as the nominations? Did you, I put it like this to people, is that the scope of what you were looking at is really, the bands that you follow, the things that you do, but it's your show, your first show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's going to be, flawed a little bit.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And I mean, you said it yourself, as far as even with the panel, there's always going to be people that are going to sway towards the bands they like anyways.
You're right. I mean, we all have our favorite bands.
Sure.
I mean, no matter what part of the scene you're in. I mean,
it's a small city.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we all know each other.
Right. But I mean, we're all going to have, everybody's got their top favorite band.
Sure.
So,
But a lot of people didn't put things out last year. A lot of people, they may have played a lot of shows, but they didn't put things out. They didn't have product to be put out there, and they didn't do, a bunch of videos. I mean, the video thing's really catching on here in the Twin Cities. A lot of bands are really putting some high quality videos together. Good shit.
Right. Yeah. Mythia just dropped one today.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Mythia just dropped a new video today too. So
awesome.
that's
shout out.
There's a lot of them out there that are doing videos.
Sure.
So.
Now, what were some of the categories that you selected for the award show?
Well, we had we had a bassist of the year, vocalist, guitarist, drummer, album production.
Okay, wait. I'm talking about the ones that fucking Buried Above Ground didn't win.
Oh,
yeah. We didn't win any of those.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, let's see here. I mean, you guys still owe me all that money too for winning all those. So, I mean, I'm still waiting.
I've been wiping my lip for like a week.
We're gonna hear that part now.
Oh shit! No, I mean, like I said, I had 9 people voting on this.
Sure.
So, and I mean, you look at any award show, there's always somebody that is going to be the most popular out of all of it.
Right.
So anybody
I cut you off on the whole thing. So you had how many categories did you have in total?
There was 17. We had 17.
17 categories. Yep. Now I hope you people are paying attention here. So the guy puts the show together. He's got 17 categories, and you brought out of all the bands that you've seen and the shows and clubs that you've gone to, you selected 7 in each category.
Right. Yep.
And Langan and myself and the rest of the panel basically had, those were our choices, were the 7. And to be honest with you, the day that you sent me the list, because you explained it to me, but I'm a fucking stoner, so I totally forgot. So when you sent me the shit and you're like, here's the thing, vote on these, and I saw 7 of them, I'm going, hold on a second, this doesn't seem right. Like, it seemed really narrowed down. And then I was like, where did you get all this? And you're like, well, I came up with it.
Right.
So that's a lot of what people were pissing and moaning about. You know what I mean? Also, just to clear the air, did Bobby Olson have anything to do with this show?
Bobby had nothing to do with this show.
Bam.
Bobby
Bobby
just
was on the voting committee. That was it.
Right.
Yep. Bobby had
okay.
nothing to do with the show.
Another thing that I want to clear up as well. Did you pay for the room?
No.
Speak clearly into the microphone, sir. This is being documented.
No.
That's highly suspect right there. No. So that was one of the rumors that came days after.
Well, of course it comes after the fact, right?
Right. But it was like, this and this happened, da 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 da, and then all of a sudden somebody said that DJ paid for it all, and that's why his band won all the shit that they won.
No, that's exactly. I mean, that's where people come up where it's set up. If
if you
just
look,
doesn't.
this is me personally. If you look at the awards, I think if you take each category, who was supposed to win each category won based off of one category alone, and that was live performance went to Blue Felix.
Right.
They earned that. I mean, they're the best live band, and we lost some categories. In the categories we probably should have lost to. For example, Royals, these guys are our friends, sitting right to my left and right here. They had an awesome song, and they beat us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to say that it's rigged is crazy, because I would have liked to have won Song of the Year. I would have liked to won that, you know?
Right.
We would have bought that one if we were.
We would have bought that one, too, if we were paying for him, you know?
Yes.
I outbid him.
Right.
He decided to go down longer.
So I mean, that was another thing that came out of this about this whole thing was the pay to play awards. The day before, I mean, I woke up. I normally get a little nervous before I jam, and when you're about to get on stage, I've been doing it forever, but I still get it helps me. I can turn it. You know what I mean? So I started getting a little nervous. You and I were talking about getting nervous. So I woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning. And the first thing I fucking like a dummy, grab my phone and write to Facebook. So I fucking roll over, and it was the first thing. Hey, it's the pay to play awards tomorrow or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this? And it just irked me so fucking bad that everybody, and it seemed, and it was going around the scene that it was basically perpetuating the pay to play aspect of it.
But I've personally never paid to play a show.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, that's just me personally.
I don't think
Anyone else? Has anyone in here ever paid Bobby to play a show?
Never.
Hey, Austin, you?
Fuck no.
No.
Hey, look at everybody's documented here.
So, I mean, we've got a good chunk of people here saying no, but yet somehow there's a bunch of people that have never met anyone in Buried, that
Right.
have never met Bobby, that have never met Bill, that have never met Royals, that have never met Langan, and never met any of us saying all this stuff
Yep.
that have no idea what they're
Yeah.
talking about.
Well, instantly, I was getting people saying that Bill was hitting on people's girlfriends, and Bill was trying to get, you know what I mean? And that
Bill is Mr. Steal Your Girl.
right.
Rico Suave.
And then
You know how crazy it gets.
I thought it was ridiculous, and it just snowballed. So a lot of things were addressed the night of the show. You know what I mean? I tried to make that. I figured that there was enough people in the room that really either didn't do a podcast with me where we all got into this long form conversation about those specific topics, and Bobby seems to be the top of topics when it comes to that stuff, because everybody seems to have so much opinion about Bobby and what he does with his business. And when we did that podcast, the main thing that we talked about on and off, record was it's your fucking business, and whatever you do with it is your fucking business. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's so funny because I've referred to that exact podcast saying you really need to take the time to listen to what he has to say. You know what I mean? It frustrates the shit out of me. And at that, in the middle of the fucking whole thing, I'm asking for a raise of hands of who played, paid to play. And, the guys from 32 Headshots or whatever, it's like, I have. And like one other person in the crowd. I'm like, anybody else? And nobody fucking raised their hand.
There was like 11 or 12 people there, too.
Yeah.
So that's like 11 or 12 people that have never paid to play. So,
Right.
The room was full of people, and no one had paid to play.
Yeah.
The myth of this paying to play thing is really a myth.
Yeah.
If it's happened, sure. But I mean, to think that it's
But here's the thing, though,
is
we've talked about this, Bobby. You know what I mean? Like, people do buy on to fucking onto. I mean, I can name 4 or 5 bands I know for a fact. I know for a fact Blue Felix has jumped on a a full length tour and has bought onto
booking
it.
agents cost money.
Exactly, and I know
It's real
Throw the
parts.
Fight has actually jumped, paid to play to get on a tour. That's happened before. If you have the money to do that, to invest in your band, to be out there on tour, why not?
Right.
But here's the thing: is that people are shitting on what you're doing, your business and everything, out of hearsay. You know what I mean? And I can name 4 other fucking promoters that have come and gone in the scene that have all had pay to play shows at one time or another. Did they continue to do that? No, but that's what it perpetuates. You know what I mean?
Like
It's
anything else, like a promoter probably learns just like anyone else. Maybe they tried that out and it didn't work for them, or it
Sure.
didn't work for the scene. Maybe whatever happened, but they don't do it anymore.
yeah.
I don't hear about it being like a rampant problem as I think some people make it seem
Right.
that it is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Considering it's the pay-to-play awards and none of the people that won, were nominated, or were there have ever played.
Sure.
Pay-to-play seems a little ridiculous. to
Right.
me.
Now, do you guys feel like go around the table? How do you guys feel about the nominations and how things went that night? I mean, there are a few of you in here that did win. Do you guys feel that it was one-sided or the scope was too small? Does anybody feel that way?
No, honestly, I just felt like humbled. It was a weird thing anyway. We wanted to show up anyway, and then when we found out we were nominated, that was just extra cool.
Right.
As far as being one-sided or favoritism comes into play, it never really crossed my mind. I mean, in my jaded character, I guess, as I am, I thought it was a little silly, but I had to step back for a second and actually look at it from the larger
What was
scope.
this? What was the silliest aspect of it that you felt?
I don't think any of us really deserve recognition. I mean, we all hustle in our own ways, and I'm about to deep throat the mic.
You need to speak to the mic, Jerry.
I don't want to. I don't. What's a mic? What the fuck? Yeah.
He plays drums. That's right.
No, it's just we didn't. No one deserves it. You know, like,
your guys' song was awesome, though. I mean, let's get real. It's a really
thank
good
you.
song.
Yeah, I mean, we're all trying to do the same thing. We want to create music. That's why we're here first. That's the first thing.
Have you guys, being in bands, was it your first thought to get accolades? Was it your first thought to
No.
make money playing your own tunes?
That's exactly what I was just about to say. Is we're all here for the music.
Right,
Firstly,
right,
that's it. Anything that comes, that's just secondary, and that's whatever comes with it is great.
Right.
But I assume that for the business people, for the musicians, we all have the artistic factor, and we're not looking for our music for awards or any accreditation. It's
Right.
just we all start for the music.
Right.
I hope.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same. I feel that's what we've all we do it for ourselves, and maybe a few people that dig what we do. You know what I mean?
But I have been sleeping with the award every night since. Like, I had to fight the rest of the band. I was like, guys, I'm sleeping with it.
Right.
And I drank from it. So, yeah.
I drank. I know. Eric let me drink from one of them as well.
I had dinner with a
I
group.
posted a picture of you drinking on it.
Dude, that was awesome.
I had dinner with a group of guys on Monday, and I brought it up.
Well, I think that bands in general, we're all kind of attention whores anyways. You know what I mean? And I think that people feel slighted when they don't get the light shined on them, which is unfortunate for them. But it kind of shows their own personal flaws. You know what I'm saying? Where people who weren't nominated or who may feel like they should have, and I think a lot of people. I'm not going to say that it was one-sided, but you took the responsibility of putting the show on yourself.
Yep.
You paid for this out of your own pocket to get this thing happening.
Yep.
Hundreds of dollars for trophies that didn't go to you. You were giving them to other people.
Right.
I mean, that's selfless as a motherfucker.
And they're not just ribbons.
Yeah,
You can drink from them.
Yeah, you could soak a ribbon. You could soak a ribbon
may have been
and
true.
squeeze it. But
The thing about one-sidedness, and I'll say this, is you handled it properly. You made it so that it wasn't necessarily a popularity contest, because you did narrow the scope down to just yourself and 9 others. If you would have had it been like a poll situation, it would have been way more one-sided.
Then it's a popularity contest.
Then it becomes a popularity
I think
contest.
he's right, because if you think about this, at the end of the day, this was the Metalsota Awards, and Bill's one person.
Right.
So if your band was active on Metalsota and sending him messages, and he went to your shows and he
Exactly.
saw good shows, he saw like you gave him a CD and it was a good CD.
Right.
He saw your video, you gave him a link. Then you probably were nominated. I think everyone in this room that's won an award or that was a nominated period exchanged some kind of relationship at some point with Bill.
Right.
If your band
Exactly.
never did that, if you've never reached out to Bill, you've never sent him a flyer, you've never posted on Metalsota, you've never invited him to one of your shows, again, it's the Metalsota Awards, not the Minnesota Awards.
Right.
So that's why you weren't nominated. And there's a couple bands that were complaining about, him not nominating them or whatever that are awesome bands. There are
Right.
tons of great bands from
Right.
here.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Tons. But maybe the show that he went to, you were drunk at and there was no one at it or something.
Right.
And that's his only experience with you. And then you never messaged him on the site and you never sent him flyers or nothing like that. So his one experience with you is that you were drunk at some show and then that's it. So where's his incentive to throw you an award? Do we really want in Minnesota that to be the case?
Here's the thing, though, is that even before we started the show, we talked a little bit about that and how he's now after the show is being inundated with all these bands trying to bombard him with shit because that happens to you. I mean,
That's awesome.
It is cool, but again, it doesn't. I think this part, the first one, organically happened to where he was searching out the bands that struck him. You know what I mean?
And I think there could be more categories because there was definitely some bands like so the reason we're saying one-sided is maybe a lot of genres feel like they were slighted or whatever. But as you were saying earlier, a lot of bands didn't put out records and stuff this year, and they played a lot of hometown shows and that kind of stuff. It's different, but maybe that's one thing that I see that could maybe be remedied was that there'd be more categories and not necessarily so that more people get
the one-sidedness that I was kind of referring to is just that Bill did take it on himself as being responsible. Yes, it was the Metalsota, but he did have a panel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and he shared the responsibility as far as voting. He could have just fucking said, Royals.
And that's
you know
what's
what I
super
mean?
cool. And I think that too when you found out who the judges were, because he posted it online one day, and you look at it, and it's a pretty widespread of people throughout the scene. So I mean, how more bias can you get than having 9 different people?
And they're
scoping-
from all over.
Yeah, I mean, so it really was. I mean, like we can complain all we want, but at the end of the day, like there was 9 different people that were judging these.
God,
categories
I wish I could just loudspeaker this shit over people's fucking houses. The people that pop into my head and go, listen to what these guys are saying.
We hope they're
because-
listening. We really hope they're listening because we personally don't have bad blood with anybody. We didn't ask for a bunch of awards. It was really cool that we were a part of it, and it was really cool that they put it on. And it's sad that the people that weren't nominated didn't come and like just hang out with us.
Just to experience it.
Just come and hang out with us and talk to us and maybe find out why we were nominated and why you weren't. And maybe we could tell you how to talk to Bill and like maybe, we could get you in touch with the right video people or studios or like whatever it is you need. Like, we all are here to help each other out. But to point fingers and call people irrelevant and dumb
you pretty much hit it on the head when you said before we went on air, you were like, I talked to people that I've never once spoken to.
It was excellent.
You were mingling with people, and that was. I mean, the big and small of it is basically you were trying to unify people around you.
Right. Yeah.
There was like 400 people there that were unified. I mean, so how big the scene is, I don't know, but 400 of them came together regardless of. There wasn't 400 people nominated.
Bobby's shows don't bring in any more than that, so that's pretty much it. That's about it. The only other thing I would bring up is the only thing that could be a little different and like just for maybe like reference or for future reference, using the panel that you had, have them actually like bring in some bands maybe because like there's could be insight from everybody.
Right. Yeah, and that's
you have
That's a really good idea. I mean,
because you have the panel there. I mean, not necessarily use the same panel next year, but think about maybe doing it like.
My mom wants to be on the panel next year too.
Same. His mom is my mom.
Word. Well, here's the thing: is that Bill and I mean, right after
You alone
we were already
could
talking
bring in
about,
so many different bands.
Well, here's the thing: is that
To his radar.
they're exactly what you said. Though is everybody? There's a fucking ton of bands that are like, why does this need to happen? A lot of people are like, nobody needs a fucking award show.
Then don't come.
And the first thing that I said to him is that you can't tell me from all the time that you started playing your instrument or joining a band or getting close to someone or watching the Grammys, you can't tell me that there hasn't been a metalhead that's watched the Grammys and go, damn, I stood in Paisley Park and looked at his at his trophy cabinet and went, holy fuck, music awards and Grammys and fucking all of this shit. I'm standing there looking at Prince's, fucking trophy cabinet. And I'm going, that would be the shit. That would be the shit to be able to write a song for somebody and get accolades for it. You know what I mean? You can't tell me that you wouldn't want a pat on the back. Even as a little kid, you do something better when your parents go, really good job. You know what I mean? Or someone gives you some sort of kudos for something. You feel like you've accomplished something and you want to strive to do something cooler. You know what I mean? And I think that everybody, Bill, you even said it before we got going as well, is that people were hitting you up right away saying, we're going to push harder next year. We want to be nominated. We want to be a part of this.
Yep.
That's
I've seen a bunch of
the
posts
cool
personally where someone's like, next year, like I sent one to Bill, some kid, I didn't even know who he was, but he was like, next year I'm going to make sure that some band I record wins production of the year,
Right.
So you got a goal.
Yeah,
you got a goal
there's things
now.
happening now. Like it obviously, there's that ripple effect, and it did that.
Yeah.
People
These are
are
just some medal trophies.
woke.
Yeah, people are woke now.
Yep.
It's just like give someone stuff to strive for, really.
right. Eric, were you just giggling at woke?
Yeah, because he just
could
woke
have
up.
said hashtag woke.
Yes. There's fucking A. That's
And
just-
for the hate, like to mention like the haters and stuff, if we didn't have that, then we weren't doing anything right to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing something right, there will always be a hater.
True.
I promise. My band can contest to that
Right.
forever.
Right.
We have a lot of them. But guess what? We're going to continue doing what we do
Right.
because when you hate, someone else that isn't hating
Right.
might have seen what you hated and liked it.
Right. No, I
And that's exactly what
I said
happened
the
for
same
the
thing
members.
too. Like every time someone uses buried negatively, like the people that see that online don't have any allegiance to the person who saw it.
But
So they go and they look it up,
So-
and then all of a sudden we got a big boost in likes after
as,
Metty's
as,
and
a
stuff.
hu-
so
as, a hum-
thanks.
as a human though, I mean, even within the last few days, I've fucking taken, hours of heat from people that I know well. You know what I mean? And even as a human, like I could say it's not going to really affect me on my day to day, but it does. It does affect me because it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? I think I was called the brown knight of the music scene. You know what I mean? Like
That's pretty cool, though, right?
Well, I
You're a knight. You're a knight, man.
well, what's fucked up about it is that it's bigger than just me. Like this show is bigger than just me. Like when I look at my stats and I look at the map of where it's been downloaded, I just go, holy fuck, I reached, this part of Russia. You know what I'm saying? And what the funny thing is that each band has sat in this office and done a podcast with me has reached that many more people. You know what I mean? And that so many people have contacted me. Somebody from Arizona who lives like way out in the sticks in Arizona is like, hey man, there's so many bands I've never heard of, and all the music that they bring in to listen to, I've never heard of it. And thank you for hooking it all up. You know what I mean? So no matter how far, like as a person, it still fucking hurts to get kicked in the nuts by anybody. But you gotta be, you got to
When you're in
stand
a
up
band,
and dust
you,
it off.
You really have to expect some of it, though. I mean, if you
Oh,
think
absolutely.
everyone's going to kiss
Absolutely.
your ass
Fuck
all the
yeah,
time,
man.
you might
Yeah.
as well stay in the garage.
Right.
When
For
I
sure.
first-
your
That's
parents
true.
will tell you how
That's
awesome
true.
you are every day.
When I first started this,
Even your friends.
and we would get hated on, it hurt.
Yeah.
But then you get a little bit thicker skin, and now an ex-bandmate from said band posts our video and goes, "This is a real thing. This is fucking terrible."
Right.
Our video jumped up a lot of views. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Just the shit
I
on
wanted
you.
to check out how bad it was.
And there's
then when it
and
wasn't
it's
that
all,
bad,
and like our thumbs down to the thumbs up ratio was a lot more thumbs up. Like for the one hater, there's like now 15 to 70 new likers.
Right.
So keep hating,
Keep on hating.
keep hating.
Keep on hating.
Mic drop.
Boom. So we listened to Reflections. They were nominated for some stuff. Yes, Bill?
Yep. Yeah, they were on. Let's see. We had Patrick was one of the guitarists nominated. And yeah, there was.
There's two on
I don't
show
have
of the
anything
year.
in front of me anymore.
I think they had
so
two
it's-
on
yeah,
show of
they
the
had,
year, right?
Yeah, they had two. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have my paper with me anymore. I had my schedule that night kind of in front of me. You had your cards, and that's kind of like what I was going on.
you had cards, cue cards.
Yeah.
That's
I
so-
asked him for. I asked him for it.
badass.
He sent me a picture of his cheat sheet. He goes, "Is this gonna work?" And I was like, "Fuck, I just want to have it."
I
Like
need flashcards.
I go, just take a. He goes, "I got 2 pages of it, And I go, just take a picture. I'll put them on cards. He goes, No, dude, I'll put them on cards for you if you. He goes, but you could tell he was like, if you really need them. I wanted to be what I wanted to come out and do is like in this quarter, you know what I mean? Like the announcer guy, like, let's get ready.
We got hired Michael Buffer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was pretty cool though, man. Like. What kept fucking me up the whole time was that we were ahead of schedule. Like I've never been involved in a show or working on anything like that where the shit is ahead of schedule. It's always behind something. Did you break anything?
No, it just opened real fast.
It's a heavy ass door. But yeah, man, that was we were way ahead of schedule.
Oh yeah. I think we ended up. God, I'm trying to think. Probably 45 minutes. Maybe no, it wasn't even that early. Maybe not. But I know it was because I had the culture of asked those guys to play, a couple songs because we had time. So had those guys play
Those
two
guys
more.
crushed it, by the
yeah,
way.
they did a great job. So did Failing to Wait did great too. So did 32 Headshots.
Right.
But yeah, it was it was just like kind of stretch it a little bit, and then that's when I told him like, you know what?
Now,
let's
how
just wrap it
did
up.
how did you hook up with 32 Headshots? They kind of seemed out of the realm normally in the area, which is totally cool. I thought it was like I remember seeing those guys at another show or something.
Well, I'm friends with Darren on Facebook, and he hit me up. He's like, hey, he goes, we'd be more than happy to play the Mettys, and so I'm like, sure.
Right.
I mean, why not?
Right.
I mean, they approached me and
He's
asked
so
me.
one-sided that he said yes.
Yeah.
No, I already have 5 bands that want to do it, so I'll put you on the list.
I think Buried and Royals are playing 4 times in a row each.
After you guys got to play a song after
then we're playing one together.
Each award.
Yeah.
Best collaboration.
Wait, that's serious.
All right, well, let's take a listen to some tunes. We got some After the Burial, Fail to Decay, Roads of Glass, and By the Thousands. Some heavy hit. That's a fucking heavy hitting lineup right there. So let me ask you this: how come you didn't invite any of the After the Burial guys?
I actually emailed their manager to let them know about because I had that Dig Deep award.
Sure.
But I did email their manager, never heard back from them.
Sure.
So, but I did attempt to.
Right.
But I mean, I'm sure they're a little busy anyways.
Right,
so
man. It's kind of got to be one of those things where they're super busy and
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, they're getting ready to do a tour here,
Right.
so I'm
Right.
sure. Some guy just hit them up to come do some award show. They're probably like, yeah, fuck that. You know,
right.
I mean,
that they never heard of, but you know
Yeah.
what? They'll hear of it next year. I guarantee you that.
Well, maybe they'll be there next year.
That's good. Hopefully they will. Stick around, folks. We got a lot of stuff to hit, and we will be back. Hey, Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 150, doing the recap of the Metty Awards here in the Twin Cities. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. We've got lots of stuff to cover here. We've got a room full of folks. We've got some Royals here. We got some Buried Above Ground folks here. Who else is here? What do we got? Etheric is here. Yes?
We got
Little
Greg.
Matt from Portraits of War, Etheric.
Nice.
Drummer of the year. No
Drummer
big deal.
of the year. Yes,
Let's
that
do
is.
it. Let's do it.
That's
Matt.
very cool.
This one's for Matt.
Dude, you honestly seemed very, very shocked, like on it, like a genuine, like, holy shit.
Yeah, no,
Come speak into a microphone.
I was very humbled to be not only recognized, but then oh shit, that's way too close. But, not only recognized, but then
Just take it down. Make sure you.
Everyone here is
create-
so afraid of dicks. They like this microphone. They're just like, it's the most masculine.
when it's millimeters from my face, I get
Hold on a
little
second. What does that say
uncomfortable.
about me that I've got the biggest dick? I mean, the biggest microphone. Never mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Yeah, it was really cool to not only be recognized, but then chosen as drummer of the year. It was very humbling. I know I don't really do a whole lot to try to make myself stand out other than just doing the things that I participate in. So it was
Right.
really cool to be seen regardless of
So
that.
I mean, it was definitely cool for you, right? I mean, it's not.
absolutely.
I mean, how long have you been playing drums, buddy?
Probably a little over like 10, 11 years
10,
now.
11 years of hard fucking work. I mean,
Yeah.
lugging all those drums. I mean, from the biggest
yeah.
kit to the smallest kit, where you're slowly figuring out you don't need all of the shit that you see on TV. You know what I mean?
Yep, you definitely do the whole bell curve where you start off with the basic stuff and
Right.
then you just want to get as much stuff as possible, and then you play for a couple of years and you do live shows by yourself, and then you definitely start to
You realize
peel
you-
away.
yeah, right.
I don't really use this all that much,
Right.
so
Yeah.
take that off and
So I mean, as far as it goes, I mean, being acknowledged for the hard work that you've put in for so many years. that's got to be pretty fucking sweet, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it really was. It's definitely my favorite thing to do with my life is just playing music and being involved with groups and enjoying others' company that are like-minded and like to play the same type of stuff. So
Right.
I try to do it as much as I can with my life. And,
Absolutely.
anytime I tell someone I'm playing in 3 bands at the same time, they go, I have a hard enough time managing being in one. So,
Right.
And that right there is why he deserved it.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
So I was a nominee for that category as well, and I was actually working during the time of that announcement.
Right.
And Austin let me know that Matt got it, and I was out of all the people on that one, this guy absolutely deserved it.
Yeah.
He's actually in a band that I was in, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right.
Like, cause when I left that band, I didn't leave it on bad terms.
Sure.
I can't do more than one band
Right.
at once.
Right, right.
I don't have the ability to do so.
Right.
Matt can, and he absolutely took over, and I've actually had the pleasure of hearing
social lives are overrated.
Right, exactly. Well, you have to tolerate.
Who needs friends when
well,
you
you
can
were
just
saying,
play music all day?
being around the like-minded individuals, people that want to create and do cool stuff. You know what I mean? Play music, things like that. Being around those people are the coolest part of it all. Anyways,
and
so
then-
when you have a social life and you go to a bar or to multiple shows all the time, other than the ones that you're playing, now you got to deal with a bunch of assholes that are fucking. You know what I mean? Like overinflated egos and people that are so fucking
Right,
full
yeah.
of themselves anyway. You got, it's I'm not trying to shit on anybody. It's just the fact that you're dealing with more fucking morons when you're out there anyways.
You're not going to get along with everybody, and
Right.
when you're in control of your own situation, you get to pick and choose who you work with,
Yeah.
and that's what I like, because I will never tell you about a project that I'm involved with where I wouldn't be stoked to be a part of it.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm working with these guys, but
I hate 'em.
It's just something to do. So
Yep.
whatever.
All right,
I don't
right.
really, But,
I mean, as another drummer, to have your peer say something as cool as that, that you were happy for him to win that's badass. And I think there were a room. I mean, when you won, there were legitimately a lot of people cheering and giving you kudos for it. That was badass. I mean, with every nomination, with every award, there was a lot of people cheering for everybody who won, which is super cool. And what's sad about it is even people at the awards. I mean, even the people that were nominated and they didn't win, they were still salty about it, which is pretty sad. When you really have to look at it, when you put things in a negative light, if you're not able to turn it around and make it into something positive, as far as striving to win next year, or striving to do a better album or a better video, or even play your instrument better, instead of going outside of the venue and talking shit about the guy putting it on, who did it selflessly for people in the scene, not just for himself to say, hey, I put on a show, fucking pat me on the back, hey, I'm Bill from Metalsota, this is,
He never, by the way, does he ever mention himself ever on Metalsota? I mean,
never. Even
never.
when he came in here to do the podcast, it was lax. It was laid back. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you were boasting and bragging about what you were doing. And I mean,
that's one of the best things about Bill, is that he makes it about everybody else.
Right.
And he's got a lot of shit going on in his own life, and it's
Absolutely.
ridiculously disrespectful for the people that have been talking the shit that they have.
Ridiculously.
If they had any clue what they were talking about, they would feel so fucking bad going to sleep tonight.
Right.
And there's no joke about that.
Well,
the guy's the most solid dude that I know.
one post that really fucking, I just wanted to reach the computer and smack the shit out of the person who did it, was, if you've got medical issues and you've got other shit going on, why put on a show? Don't you think that you need to reprioritize your finances? And I'm just going, hold on a second. First of all,
now he's an accountant. Now this guy's an accountant too.
You don't know what
heckling accountant.
What this guy does, on his own time. You know what I mean? The guy's been dealing with issues in his private life and not putting it out there, other than, hey, telling his friends, I'm in a rough spot. I mean, the week before the show, I did not know if this show was going to happen, because you were in the hospital and had a fucking operation. You know what I mean? It's not like he went and got a shot and fucking he was out the next day. I was like, dude, is this still going to happen? And you were like, yeah, man, it's going to happen. We'll figure it out somehow.
It never became in question. Where if anyone else was worried about it not happening, which you might have been, or people on the panel or something like that, I don't think Bill would have ever let it get to that point.
Right.
He's definitely a fighter. If they'd have told him yo, you can't be out till Friday, I mean, he'd have been out at Friday at 5 o'clock when the doors open, and he'd have been in there setting up half hour before the doors, you know?
Right.
So I don't know.
I was told not to go by the doctors.
Talking to the mic, sir.
I was told not to go, but I mean, you know, I said, I'm sorry, I have something that I have to take care of. So,
dude,
I
have to say, your wife is rock solid too, dude. She
Nicest.
was checking on you the entire time, making sure you were all right, you know, and to have, you know, she has to see every single thing that you know, that you go through and the struggles and all the bullshit. I mean, dude, as soon as you released everything and let everybody know what the nominations were and, you know, who was all on the panel and everything, I started to see the negative shit right away. And I contacted you and said, dude, don't let this get you down, man. And I mean, how was that feeling for you, you know, starting to see that from the very get-go of something that you were doing and meant to be positive for the whole metal scene?
Well, I mean, to me, to actually like to see people talking shit, I was just like, I'm like, you know, I mean, I was just kind of in awe, I guess. I mean, people usually, I mean, you know, I'm nice to everybody I meet. I've never disrespected people. I mean, if they disrespect me, it's a different story. But I don't know. I mean, I like you said, I mean, you were the first one really that contacted me and said, don't let this get to you. And I mean, it kind of helped because I was like kind of sitting there just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, like all these people, not all these people, I just said this was a handful of people, but talking shit like that. And I'm not used to seeing that. So, I mean, I was just kind of like,
sometimes
holy
the
crap.
minority squeaks the loudest. And I think that was what happened here is there was like hundreds of really grateful, positive people coming together. Yeah. And the handful of people that were salty about it just so happened to be loud.
Yeah,
and,
just
and
loud
it made
enough.
it seem like there was more of them than there was. It's just there's really just a couple salty people that, you know, feel slighted because their band wasn't mentioned at the end of the day. It's really
well, I mean, DJ, you kind of were in the fucking trenches with the whole thing. I mean, your post kind of
it was one band in particular's attitude at the onset of everything that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I think when they tried to cover up everything that they had said as it was just some kind of a joke, it had already gone past that, and a lot of stuff that they had said had been deleted on the event page and had been deleted on Metalsota, you know, and rightfully so. They were like talking trash and making memes about bands and people, and then to play it off as like it's just some kind of joke. I felt a little personally offended by that because they, for example, had friends that were nominated.
Right.
So, I mean, they're almost shitting on their own friends, and then they claim to be in the scene.
Right.
Well, I like to think I'm in the scene, and everyone else that was nominated. So they're shitting on the scene too.
Sure.
Shitting on Bill, the guy who does arguably more for the scene than anyone. You know, like, you know, shitting on Bobby for the pay-to-play thing, who's arguably done more for my band than anyone on earth. And so I felt a little slighted by these guys just running their mouth, you know.
Well, the sad thing of it is that, you know, your post, you know, there were 300, 400, you know, comments on the thing, but it was all out of context for the most part. You know, it was like you know, expressing your opinion, which this is the funny thing is that all of those people who are pissed at him for saying his opinion, it was only his response to your fucking opinion that meant so much to you and all of your other friends. That's what's sad about it is that it's like, I can tell you how I feel, but you're not allowed to.
Well, like I said one day, like I didn't just wake up one day mad and just start hating on anybody. That's not the point. Like these guys went out of their way to cause some kind of a tirade online with like an entire event page. They were spamming the event page. They were spamming the Metalsota page. So then to play it off as like, oh, you guys just can't take a joke. I mean, let's get real here. You guys were clearly salty about not being nominated, and it went farther than it's just a joke. And like I said earlier, if we're getting real about, you know, with the nominations and stuff, this is where it comes back to being the Metalsota Awards. They were on the Metalsota page saying like, well, you know, Bill's never come to one of our shows and he never says anything about
Which
us on Metalsota.
Which isn't true. You actually have been.
So yeah, so I went back and I looked in the Metalsota videos, and there's an Invidiosis video, and I watched the entire video. And the beginning of the video, the guy's like, he's like, oh, you know, I'm half in the bag right now, and I'm drunk, and there's like 2 people in the crowd. So to Bill's experience, here's this band that was on stage drunk, playing to nobody. And that's his only experience with them probably. So where is his incentive to give them an award? Like, what's the award they want? I mean, and that's no offense to them. Sure, are they a good band? Sure. Do they play in South America? Cool. But I mean, what does that mean to the Metalsota Awards? He did nothing but nominate the bands that were active on his site, active in his life, in his line of sight, so to speak. And if you're not in that, I mean, that's not anyone else's fault, but kind of your own.
Sure. I mean, there's a ton of bands that have come from here that get absolutely no love from their own. I mean, it happens all the time around the states, you know, and they'll go to other states and have a great following, and people will pick up on them and buy their material, but then they come home and they play to, you know, 10, 15 people. You know, it's I mean, we talked about it on your guys' podcast where, you know, some people put, you know, all their eggs in one basket and really want to, you know, get it to that next level and work hard for what they do. And I think Bobby facilitates that as well. I mean, a lot of bands can say, yeah, I play in a band. Yeah, I play, you know, a handful of shows in my state, you know, and Bobby's saying, well, here's your chance to shine. Get out there and sell some fucking tickets. Prove that you can, you know, make your way in here. You know what I mean? And I don't know why. What's the problem with that? What is the factor? Are you supposed to just give? I mean,
some people
they're harping on you by saying you're
Right.
giving away awards
Yeah.
for you know, for participation, but yet these motherfuckers don't want to sell tickets.
They
for
misunderstand the word promoter. I think that they honestly are kind of stuck in an old school way where they think a promoter is supposed to promote the show. I'm supposed to show up and play the show, and that's kind of it. The hard work I put in as a band in writing these songs is what gets me on the show, and I'm not supposed to sell tickets or whatever the deal is. But that's just, you know, really, if you're selling tickets, what you're essentially doing is bringing people to your own show.
Right.
I mean, if you don't look at it like that, then you're probably not ready to start playing shows.
Right. I agree with you 100%. How do you feel about that, Bobby? How do you feel about this whole deal? What's been your experience so far with this whole thing too, man? I mean,
My experience with the awards.
Yeah.
Well, originally I thought it was lame.
Yeah.
For the record.
But
It's actually not lame. It's pretty cool.
Explain yourself.
Well, the reason why I wasn't behind it originally is because I knew there was going to be this whole other side that was going to be offended and
Sure.
and not included, and you know everything we just talked about, and that's why I didn't think it was a good idea when I first heard about it. But it's really cool, and I liked it, and I was there, and I had a great time, and it seemed like 90% had a great time. So I'm into the awards ceremony. As far as like being a promoter, I would love for bands not to sell tickets, and I would love for the shows to sell out on their own, and I'd love for money to be a waterfall of money growing on trees and all this kind of...
Right.
It's just not that way anymore.
Yeah.
People sit on their couch and
click
and basically selling tickets. It's really... If you can sell your tickets, it just means you're doing something special and unique enough, and you have a support system you have people that want to support you. And that's really what it is.
Right. Absolutely.
Ultimately.
Yeah, I would agree.
It also shows a little level of grind, too, because there's some bands that aren't so great. I mean, I'm sure Bobby will say this, too, that'll just show up with a handful of tickets all the time.
Right.
And I will respect, personally, the crap out of that band, because hustling is half of this whole battle.
Hustling is a part of life.
And
you know what
I
I'm
was just
saying?
about to say that it doesn't just stop at being in
No,
a band.
yeah.
Like, if you're going to work tomorrow and you're not hustling, you're never going to...
Right.
Gonna
Well, you're
move
not.
up.
You're not going to get any kind of promotion.
Ever.
They're going to be like, this is like fucking
And
just
that's
an average
what's
dude.
kind of
that-
funny about this whole deal is that like you're kind of getting hate for like trying harder.
Yeah.
It's like you're the kid that got good grades and like, oh,
Right.
nerd,
Fucking nerd.
nerd.
Yeah.
Like that's how we feel right now,
Yeah.
you know? It's just
Yeah.
like we care about this,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I totally agree with
And
you.
Bobby
100%.
doesn't put on these shows for free. So, I mean, when he asks a band to sell a certain amount of tickets to ensure that slot is worth what it is worth, I mean, it's not crazy. It's not
Dude,
crazy.
I mean, that's one of the main reasons I had to say what I said about you, Bobby, up there was you are one of the only promoters in town that is catering to this style of music. You don't have to. I mean, I'm sure there's other things that you could be doing, you know, besides catering to a bunch of metalheads that are unappreciative fucking assholes to you about it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the truth. I mean,
It is the truth.
You've got a scene full. You've got a scene full of people that are truly. I mean, you're the one that has everything to lose. They just say, "Oh, I'm not going to go to that show. It's snowing outside. I don't want to fucking go. Yeah, I got to work tomorrow. I don't want to go. Yeah, this band may never come back to this town ever because you didn't want to fucking go." You know what I'm saying? Or overpaying for a show where, I mean, we had that conversation off the air about some shows that you've had where you've overpaid because you figure, fuck it, I want to bring them here, and you know. Or we've also had conversations where bands that you didn't think were going to do very good on a Tuesday night end up doing really fucking well, and they keep coming back. You know?
Yeah, man. It's hard to gauge sometimes.
Right. I can't even imagine. I would be a fucking nervous wreck the entire time. Like, are people going to show? Are these fucking bands going to sell any tickets? You know, am I going to lose my shirt every single time I do this? I mean, I mean, in the beginning, you said that it was, trial and error, and then finally it caught on. You started, doing well with the shows, and that's why I had to say that, is because there's nobody else in this in the community. I know we use the word scene, and everybody says I fucking hate that word scene, but in the community, in the music community, you're really the one stepping up to do, what nobody else has the balls or pocketbook to do.
Who else can say that? I mean, and this is Barry's experience personally, but because of Bobby, we've never played to like less than 1,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, who else locally is putting on those types of shows and then helping out bands from the area like that?
But it has also benefited you greatly for putting on, the boat show and the secret shows.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it correlates hand in hand with each other. One guy gives
this is
gives
something,
you a
maybe a
chance.
lesson for everybody, is that perception is everything. And I'm maybe not spilling the beans here on the secrets, but literally perception is everything. If you're at a show that has like 1,000 or 1,500 people at it, and even if no one thinks that, the perception in the back of their head is they've just seen you at a really big show.
Right.
So now you're a really big band.
Right.
Now you go and you're going to put on a $25 ticket boat show. Well, they just saw you co-headline with Ministry at 1,000 people. Like, well, let's go check out this boat.
Right.
Whereas if we would never have been met with Bobby and played a bunch of our own local shows, we would never have had that steam to start doing things on our own. I mean, really, that's really the case.
I mean, that
our first show was with Behemoth.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like, who else can say that?
Right.
And it was because of
huge.
Bobby.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, Bobby, you seemed very open to that fact for people reaching out to you to want to do shows. I mean, when we did the podcast, you were like, "Fuck yeah, come up."
Yeah, I want to work with people.
Right.
I mean, I think I have zero ego.
Right.
I mean, maybe I do. I don't know, but I think I don't. I mean, I'm willing to work with pretty much anyone who wants to work with me.
Sure.
Because I realize we're all just trying to do the same thing.
Sure. And I know what's really funny about one of the people that I know who shit on the Mettys was more than enough time shit on when we did our podcast together.
Let's name drop.
Every time I would every time that I would post the photo for the picture for it or whatever, the flyer, instantly this motherfucker would drop some shit on there, and it's somebody that I've known a
His
long
band's
time.
never played a Bobby show, right?
No, that's not true. This is the funny thing, is that he's fuck him and fuck his faggotry and fuck this stupid shit. I'm never paying.
If that's
to play.
how he talks, I'm just gonna assume I know who. Can I name drop?
No, don't do that. But anyway, so the fact of the matter is, is that there were multiple people that said that they would never work with Bobby, and midway through the podcast, I got multiple emails saying, I'm going to give him a shot. I'm not going to, and this one dude was like, I'll never fucking play one of his shows. Weeks later, the motherfucker was on a Bobby show, and I went right to him and went, what the fuck? I go, you hypocrite motherfucker. What is this shit?
Someone
well, I'll tell you what, straight up, man, I'll never fucking pay to play this. I'm never pay to play that. And I just went,
I think I know who this is.
Sure.
This one person, this was like last summer, unfriended me on Facebook because I posted one of our Bobby shows.
Yeah.
And he's just like, how much did you pay to get that spot or whatever like
right.
that? And I was just kind of like, well, none or, whatever my little smart ass remark was. And then he unfriended me, and I thought, okay, well, that's hilarious. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, I saw his band opening up one of Bobby's show, and he unfriended me, so I couldn't even send him a message to be like, dude, like, come on.
Right.
I
just think it's super funny because
it's everyone's talking crap doesn't know what they're
what's
talking about.
funny is that this particular person was like, if the rest of the band wants to deal with him, that's fine. I won't deal with him, but I'll never, ever pay to play. And I thought it was so funny because he was like, fuck that guy. Like, he put a big tirade on there and I deleted it instantly. And within 5 minutes, he was like, how dare you fucking, I should be able to say whatever the fuck I want to say. And I'm like, that's cool. Say it to him. Don't say it on my shit, because my shit is Switzerland.
He
bitch.
did say it on my shit.
Right.
So I had to screenshot it,
Right.
and then I deleted it. And I was like, it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
Bring
Dude,
it
I
up.
was like,
But anyways, he played 2 of my shows.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, he had a great experience.
Right.
I think.
Well, you know what? He's probably, more people were exposed to his band than it probably ever will be, is what I'm saying. And the
That's
negative,
usually the case
and
at Bobby
the
shows.
negative attitude about the whole thing is that, yeah, you can shit on what you're doing, what Bill did with the show, but what does that say about you? That negativity that you fucking perpetuate. That you fucking the pool that you swim in is dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else is trying to freshen up the pool. Hey, I'm a new band. I'm gonna jump in here. It's fresh and clean again. You know what I mean? New blood, new music in there. Beast Face is a band that we were talking about before the show started. Yep. This is a band that is like no one else in the scene to me. They have such a different sound, such an eclectic type of sound that they can mix and mash with anybody. You know what I mean? And it's like, they're a fresh band. To me, I see that. Bands like Cymothwa, I was like, these guys are fucking amazing. I was like, dude, you guys want a singer? They were like, nope.
Their artwork is the coolest.
Dude, yeah.
It is so
their
fucking
stickers
cool.
are awesome.
I talked to their drummer, Tony, for the first time. For
Super
like a
cool
while.
dude.
One of the nicest dudes ever.
Super cool
And
dude.
in fact, Tony, if you're listening, you're partly the reason why I got so drunk. Because I was just hanging out, having a good time, and he hands me a drink, and it's like a full shot of Crown. Like not just a shot, like
a roofie.
Like a big glass of Crown. Yeah,
He wanted
Crown.
to touch your butt. That's what.
Maybe he was trying to rape me. But he's a nice dude, and yeah, I mean their album artwork is unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Very cool. Their music is awesome too. Very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So we talked about nominations, voting, the committee panel, scopes of bands. I mean, do you feel next year you're gonna open that up for more fielding as far as the spectrum of the scene or the community?
Yeah, I mean it's who's ever working. I mean if they're working hard, I'm gonna hopefully I'll see it. And I mean I want to open up more to like more of the bands that are out there. I mean there's tons of great bands here.
Right.
I mean we all know that, but to I mean like I said, if they're pushing to work hard, then I mean sure.
I mean, you and I talked about next year if there is gonna be a next year. And we talked about using the panel and the committee, and it's just me throwing ideas at you. Yep. And we also talked about getting together like mid-year and kind of talking about who had released albums the beginning of the year, and then at the getting together again at the end of the year and kind of going through the whole spectrum of who released albums this year. And I thought that was a great idea. I don't know how you felt. How did you feel about that idea?
I mean, I would think is a great idea. I mean, it just as long as everybody's, everybody's can bring their bands in. Sure. So, I mean, yeah, whoever's, like I said, if everybody's paying attention to who's working, who's doing what, then yeah.
Out of a lot of the people, you had Will Maravellis from Zero Budget Records. Now, to me, that's a guy who really is in touch with a lot of, he does record a lot of bands. Yep. And he seems very unbiased of what he does. He's a genuine guy, who's down to earth and a dude who's really trying to help the music scene in general. Right. He always wants to help bands get recorded. Always trying to push things with his label and everything like that. Will has been really outspoken and really trying to mediate a lot of the bullshit because he's a friend. He's friends with, as I am as well, friends with a lot of the people that were still kind of shitting on the whole show. Right. Will is one of those guys, and all the people that you put on. I mean, Langan is also. She goes to more. You said it at the show. Yeah. She goes to more shows than anybody on earth, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that goes to that many shows.
Other than Bobby, who puts the damn shows on, but she still goes to more shows.
She probably goes to more than Bobby.
Langan, Langan, why don't you jump on the microphone? How was your experience with this whole thing? Now, you even presented
I don't want to talk about that.
Why not?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. What was your experience with the whole thing? How do you feel the ups and downs with this whole deal was?
It's the first time Bill's done this. Bill did this as one person. This is a giant fucking scene. I mean, he's not going to be able to include everyone. Get over it.
Right.
And also stop putting out shitty music, and then you'll get awards. I don't get what's so hard about it. I don't get it. Be a better band.
Savage.
That was well said.
And this
I said it. I mean, I say it in my blog all the time. If you're a better band, you get awards. If you didn't get an award, you obviously aren't.
Well, I kind of want to know personally, not just because of buried whatever, but I kind of just want to know like what band won an award that some other band should have won. You know what I'm saying? Like what other band should have won what? Like that Mastiff cover. Sure. Should have won artwork. It was dope. It was a really cool cover, and it won.
Dude, and I'll be flat out honest. I'm good friends with those guys, and I did not vote for them because I felt that I would be expected to because they're my friends. So I didn't vote for them. And the cover that I did vote for was I have my own personal like of artwork. So the cover that I voted for was was more abstract and more appealing to my eye than, you know, like a beast on a cover. I mean, everybody does that. You know what I mean? I think Hate Beast was also nominated for that as well, wasn't it?
Yep.
And their artwork was fucking great. I mean, there were some really good bands with great artwork in there, but the one that I saw really appealed to my eye, and that's why I voted for it. It wasn't because Al and everybody in Mastiff was my friend. I love that album. I love that band. I love every one of the guys in the band, but I did not vote for it because appealing for my eye as an artist and someone who likes to be creative with Photoshop and whatever, I really saw dynamics and layers in the other art, the one that I voted
isn't that
for.
kind of proof that it worked though then, because you didn't vote for it because of that reason, and it still won.
Right.
Because it was really good artwork.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, there was 9 judges that felt differently than
Right.
you.
Absolutely.
So the best ended up rising regardless of your personal friendship feeling.
Absolutely.
So that's proof that, you know, regardless of who's friends with who,
Right.
it didn't matter. Everyone was really objective. And I know Will's a super objective guy.
Right.
Bill was telling me Todd, who actually produced our record,
Right.
took like a month or 2 to get back the nominate sheets
Right.
to him, and he's like, oh, I had like 2 months to get the Grammy sheet back.
Well, dude,
everyone listened and tried.
The nominations. I think there were more people talking in the group about where they could find the stuff. You know, like here are the 7 bands for each nomination. It was cool because the people that were on the panel were interacting with each other, trying to find, okay, I want to see these videos. And Bill was like, okay, well, I linked them here, here, and here. You can go see everybody that was nominated. Like, Bill was on it.
I'm sure you guys did a lot of work just in that regard, just like finding everybody's music and videos. And
I personally didn't want to be like biased in any way. Like, I didn't even, there were even some stuff. I mean, I had never seen some of the vocalists. I never had a chance, but I did go on YouTube and just to see what they did on stage. Being a vocalist, I wanted to see what kind of throwdown they had. Like, if you're, you know,
that's
Stevie Wonder in the motherfucker, or you're throwing it down.
And
yeah.
I don't think anyone, you know, no offense to Lee. I mean, Lee is an awesome vocalist.
I think I might have voted for him.
I
might have. I think I went and looked. I remember looking that
He's
dude
really
up too.
Dynamic, and he deserved to win that, so he did.
Right.
You know, and Eric, you know, our vocalist was in that category, and the first thing I didn't do was go on Twitter and start bashing, you know, everybody else.
Loser.
You know,
Hey,
everybody that won, I really believe in the bottom of my heart deserved to win. And it's probably easy to say that, is that, you know, we won 4 as a band. So, but that's not the point. You know, we worked really hard this year, and I'm not even just saying, like, we worked extremely hard. We spent every dollar, every hour that we had spent on this band. Like, it wasn't a joke to us this year.
Right.
So some of the bands that are like doing it as like a weekend warrior thing, and then they're really mad that they weren't nominated, and they're calling us all these kinds of names or whatever.
Right.
We talked about it on the last podcast. We're just coming from 2 different realms.
Right.
Altogether.
Right. Now, I mean, Bill, what do you think about you know, these guys doing so well in the awards, and kind of the backlash of that, being that you're wearing one of their hats, you were in their video. I mean, you know, people look at that and they're like, nah, you know, they fucking get all butthurt about it. But the fact of the matter is that you rubbed elbows with the cats, you became friends with them. Right. That's the way the shit happens. I mean, that's how bands get places. Is that you network with people.
We're a small town. We all know each other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you know, and there's a lot of bands that I mean, I'm friends with a lot of people, but like, if I go on my Facebook, I would name names, but there's like one person per band here that seems like that one. There's always one that pushes harder than anybody else for that band, and I've got a bunch of friends that I see do that with a number of bands that are in the, you know, around town.
Sure.
So, I mean, everybody, like I said earlier, everybody's got their favorites. I mean, but like, I had this committee, 9 people on it that voted that we all voted. So, I mean, it's not like I set it up to where these guys are going to win.
You know, so maybe you should say this on mic too. I mean, because I actually want to know too, but you didn't vote for Buried in every single category?
Not every single category, no.
Of course not. I mean,
no,
I think, like Greg said, I think everyone really wanted to be objective about it, being that it was the first one too. Everyone had to, like, let's be real respectful of it. And you know, someone like Will, I can't exactly see Will going like, oh, I produced this record, better give it a vote. You know, like, I just don't see anyone being that's like conniving.
Right. Will really does have an ear for that stuff too. You know what I mean? And he's got a great mind. You know, he's got a head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
So he's very, you know, open to, you know, I mean, open to, sorry, Will, open to, you know, new ideas and new things. I think that really sets Will apart when it comes. I mean, the dude brings 30 fucking gift bags to give away.
Yep.
I thought that was really
He's just a
fucking
really
cool
great
and
dude.
cool
Right
and
on.
selfless to do as well. He didn't have to do any of that shit,
not
you
at
know.
all.
And I think that it speaks volumes in who you selected to be a part of it and who actually agreed. I mean, Bobby came on here and just said he thought it was a bad idea.
Right.
You know, he
Yep.
thought he was against it at first. He had a great time. It's much like our podcast and people, being against you. And I get emails mid podcast going, yeah, we really changed my mind with it, And again, we talked about that as well. You can ask anybody and they'll tell you what you want to hear. Everybody's gonna, say this or that. And of course, when we got done with the podcast, people were like, yeah, I was just telling you so put him in a good light. I'm like, give me a fucking break. The dude doesn't have any kind of agenda to do it. You're just, it's just fucking amazing.
We all live here. We all exist in the same scene. We're all trying
Right.
to, like Jared said earlier, we're all trying to do the same thing.
Right.
And it's kind of unfortunate that sometimes you start pointing fingers at bands you look up to or that you're jealous of or that you're upset with or that you're beefing with or whatever the cause is. It's kind of unfortunate because we all there's only so many venues here and metal's like a small thing kind of.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
have like a really small area to live within.
Yeah.
And I mean going on online and just talking trash about us isn't going to get you a good show with us,
Right.
and going online and talking trash about Bobby's not going to get you a great show with him. So we're a really small town. There's only a couple bands that are putting on big shows. And
Right.
there's only a couple promoters.
Well, how many times are you going to go to work, the place of business that you work daily, and just start shit with people? You know what I mean? That you're going to see every single fucking day.
Isn't that weird though? Like it's just like we let that slide in our industry
Right.
a little bit.
Right.
Like oh, it's
Right.
cool. Just everyone can talk shit and you still get to have your job.
I think bottom line is, why talk shit about having a great party?
Right. Yeah.
Really, that's it. Fucking why?
Yeah. Right. I agree
Let's
with you.
party.
Yeah.
And then there's no reason to talk shit about that.
No, it was
At all.
it was a great party,
I
man.
talked
It
to
was
so many
it was
people
so much
that were
fun.
not nominated and
Right.
we're just having a blast. And
Right.
then like a couple people, and this is a testimony to Bill a little bit. Like some people came up to me and were like, "I heard you guys for the first time because of this. Like
Right.
it's really fucking good. Like
Right.
thank you for blah blah blah. Like
Sure.
let's have a beer."
Right.
Like that happened on multiple occasions that night.
Right.
Partially why I couldn't see, but but that happened a lot that night. And I think if everyone took that opportunity to just meet each other, I mean, for example, now, I mean, Barry's going to play a couple of really big shows this year, and
Right.
we're looking for bands to open them up.
Sure.
So we got an opportunity to talk to a bunch of people that we've never played shows with. And if you think we want to keep playing shows with the same 4 bands all the time because
Right.
they're our friends, you're crazy.
Right.
We want to meet as
Outside the murder, throw some outside the murder on there, a bunch of old dudes, and fucking, we'll show you how old dudes can just stand there and go.
Yeah, we want to meet everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you look at what I do with Top Secret Metal Fest, I don't think you can look at Buried and say that we're a one-sided band.
Right.
Because we've put bands on both sides of the fence on Top Secret Metal Fest,
Right.
on main stage, side stage, whatever, right alongside of us.
Right.
And then I try to do that once a year.
Right.
So I invite anyone that's got negative things to say about how Buried at least conducts our business and does things.
Yeah.
Hit us up. We'll play with you. I mean, we have a show once a year that has like 30 bands on it.
Sure.
We'll do that together.
Right.
We don't have to talk trash. We can have a really big party once a year all together.
Right.
Yep.
And it's really fun. If anyone's been to Top Secret, it was really fun. If anyone's ever been to the boat show, it was really fun.
Right.
The Mettys,
Most of us
Bill
don't remember the boat
freaking
show,
killed
though.
it, you know?
Right.
And this isn't a show about allegiance or sides or dark side and Jedis or black or white
Right,
or
right.
whatever the case is. It's really scene building.
Right.
And when you don't look at it as such, you're part of the problem.
Right.
And that's really bottom line.
I agree with you 100%, man. And there's a lot of that, man, being part of the problem and not the solution. I mean, you could sit and argue and piss and moan about who plays faster and, longer solos and, whatever. You could sit there and say,
We do.
right.
We do solo.
You've got the award to prove it, sir. Well, let's take a listen to some more tunes. We got, let me see here, some Milestone, Blue Felix.
Kidney Stones.
Yep, Kidney Stones. Somebody just posted one of those today, and that motherfucker was like the size of my pinky nail. I'm like, oh, God. I just said, my dick hole burns. That's all I said. But we've got Blue Felix. Let me see here. Silent Planet. And Thy Art is Murder. Let's take a listen to some tunes. Stick around, folks. We'll be back. Hey. Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 150. recap of the Metty Awards in the Twin Cities here. I want to hit a couple things. Tomorrow night, Saturday, January 28th, at Lee's Liquor Lounge, we've got Day Zero, Hate Beast, Beastface, and Kobaloy, $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 Tallboy, PBRs. That's Lee's Liquor Lounge, 21 plus, 8 p.m. doors, 9 p.m. start, $7 cover. And then next weekend, we have Winter Chaos at Club Underground, I believe. Let me see. I got fucking clicking the wrong one here. That's the Club Underground. We've got Invidiosis, Kobaloy, Promodol. I can't even read that fucking logo. Holy shit. My Zero and Mortificator. That is a, let me see here, 8 o'clock doors, 8:30 show start, $7 cover as well. That's next Friday, the 3rd of February. Damn, I can't believe we're already right there at February. And then at the end of February, we're doing a night of hip-hop and metal at Lee's Liquor Lounge, Friday, February 24th. Black Flood Diesel, I believe this will be like their 3rd or 4th show back in the Twin Cities Jam again. MC Rents, The Vault, TikTok, and Hex Vortices. Again, that's Lee's Liquor Lounge, $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 PBR Tallboys, 21 plus, $7 cover, 8 p.m. doors, 9 p.m. show start. Let me see here. What else do we got? Bobby, you got some shows coming up? Tell me some stuff. Tell me some good stuff. You got a lot of stuff
I can
coming
tell you
up.
lots of stuff.
Yeah, shoot some stuff. You got, Overkill's coming up real soon, too.
Overkill.
Right? Overkill's going to be
That's going to be a great show.
Yeah. How's the pre-sale on that one? Pretty good?
It's looking really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great to hear. Those guys have been putting out some really solid albums for many years. And,
New one just came out. What do you think?
Yeah, I have not heard it yet.
Okay, nothing?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Yep.
I've heard
But
the
I
two
really like,
singles.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, the first one that came out, the first minute and a half is kind of lame, in my opinion. But then it actually gets really good, in my opinion.
Right. Well, that's good.
But that's, I don't know.
Sure.
That's just me.
So what do you got? You got coming up? You've got a lot of shows coming up. You guys are doing a show soon too, right? With
After the Burial,
February 26th with After the Burial.
You're killing me talking to the mic, or I'm going to bite you.
Isn't that in the mic? That was pretty
no,
close.
It's got to be right in there.
After the Burial,
Throat.
February 26th. After the Burial, Amir, Fit for an Autopsy, Fit for King, Invent Animate.
Skyway Theater.
No way.
Skyway main room.
Back at the Skyway. That's
Only
awesome.
when I have to.
That's awesome. No, that's something that's kind of you were not doing stuff there for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm really not.
Just a few. I mean, you were doing a ton of shows there, and all of a sudden it just stopped.
Yep.
You just started spreading the love.
Well, Skyway wanted to. They basically quadrupled. They were saying they want to quadruple the rent of what I pay. For the shows. So I had this back and forth awkward conversation. Like, you sure you want to do this? And they're like, yeah, we're going to do this. I'm like, okay, I'll reach out in another week. Another week goes by. Okay, you sure you want to do this? Yeah, we're sure. Repeat that 2, 3, 4 times. I'm like, all right. So I call the caboose. I'm like, hey, you literally won another 50 shows this year? Like, yeah, bring them by.
Right.
So that's kind of why everything went to the
How
caboose.
are things going at the caboose? You
I
liking it
cannot be happier.
Nice.
My God.
They take care of you good over there?
I love the caboose.
Awesome.
Like, it's like so stress-free being over there. Like, doing shows downtown at the Skyway, it sucks.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Is there-
Bringing in production and gear and soundboards and monitors and cables and paying for parking for buses on the street, and
that's got to be tough.
Dealing
Getting
with
permits for all that shit.
Yeah, permits for the street people who are different from the permits in the alley people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making this up.
No.
Like, you have to file a permit to load gear in the alley.
Right.
Otherwise, they give people parking tickets.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they still harass you.
Yeah.
The dude's I got not on my new phone, but I have the dude's like picture, his name tag, his badge number, all this like on my phone.
Why are you
we get
fucking
into
harassing me? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're just loading in, dude. Like, go away. If you weren't here, we'd be done.
Yeah.
So at the caboose, like,
you guys are causing a lot of trouble, and people are standing on the end of the alleyway.
he was saying something like that,
exactly.
standing in front of a van. It's like, dude, can you move?
Yeah.
We're like trying to move.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
so yeah, I love the caboose.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, give me some shows, buddy. Let me hear what you got. I know you got.
I got Lordy coming.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when the last time they've been here. 10 years?
Maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So they're doing their 25th anniversary tour, Mons Tour.
Nice.
They're in all their monster costumes.
Even cooler.
Kind of crazy. Born of Osiris New Rain Tour. Playing the New Rain album in its entirety at the Caboose. Overkill Nile. Got Matt's band coming. You're in that band, right? No?
Oh, that's Palazzo.
Different Matt.
Different Matt. That's the taller Matt.
I was so close.
Halfway there.
It's hard to keep track.
There are a lot of us.
He was human, you're human.
Wait, hold on. You're the Matt who won the award, though.
Yeah, I know that.
So I mean, that kind of no. That's
I
you
wouldn't
stand
have
out
if
now.
he lived here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Darkest Hours coming.
Super sick.
Amaranth.
You got dates on these, or you just? I could scream
You
out
know
a bunch
what,
of
if-
names too.
Yeah, I mean,
Slayer, bro.
no one's going to remember these dates.
Well, throw them out there. It is being recorded, so they can
That is true.
rewind it and shit. What
Darkest,
did he say? What date was?
Darkest Hours, Saturday, February 25th.
Awesome.
After the Burial, Sunday, February 26th. Amaranth, Wednesday, March 1st. Dope Combi Christ, Wednesday, March 8th. Architects, Thursday, March 9. Psycho Stick, all over Minnesota.
Those guys are
Lydia
awesome.
Can't Breathe. Give him a shout
Yeah.
out. Give him a shout out.
Lydia Can't Breathe is great. But they're playing at the Caboose on Sunday, March 19th.
Nice.
Despised Icon, Carnifex, Friday, March 24th.
That's going to be a good show.
Amorphous, they have not been here in a very long time. Amorphous, Tuesday, March 28th. Chelsea Grin, if anyone cares about that, Tuesday, March 4.
I'm excited.
Well, that's great. Like,
The Tupac holograms playing on March what? No? Oh, okay, never mind.
we got
For
Era.
real.
We got Era at the Amsterdam, Sunday, March 9. I See Stars at the Amsterdam, Wednesday, March 12. Got Delane Hammerfall coming, Saturday, April 29. And Sabaton, what I'm very excited about, that's probably going to sell out. That's at like 500 pre-sale already.
Nice.
And it's Tuesday, May 5th.
And they haven't been here in a while, right?
They were just here with Trivium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at Mill City.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what I got coming up.
Good deal.
Evergray's coming, which is kind of is that a big deal?
I don't know.
Okay. Evergray with Seven Kingdoms. Need, they're from Greece.
You know, there's somebody that could possibly be listening going, fuck yeah, that means, what do you mean you don't know?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. I'm done listening to this stupid podcast.
Exactly. But Evergray, Seven Kingdoms, and Need will be at the Caboose Thursday, May 25th.
Yeah. You're out there.
So that's what I got going on.
How about anybody else? Anybody else got shows coming up here real soon?
Or are you doing that Dead Horse Trauma one by chance, or is that?
That's a DJ show.
DJ.
Okay.
What's
March.
That's February 20th.
February 23rd. Sorry.
DJ.
I forgot the date.
February 23rd.
Yeah. February 23rd at the Amsterdam, and it's
Let's do a body good.
it's actually cool because
Pass
it's
it
actually
out.
Portraits of War. Luke,
Yes.
his first show back in well over a year.
Right.
He was in a coma for a few months, so
The winner of the Dig Deep Award.
yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir. And then also two of the bands that played the Mettys
Right.
will be there. That's Failing to Wake and The Culture of.
Nice.
And then some friends of Dead Horse Trauma, Straight Jacket.
Nice. Some friends of that.
So again, because I'm so one-sided, like Straight Jacket and Dead Horse Trauma are playing a show with,
right.
Portraits of War. And,
Yeah.
so because I'm one-sided, that's what I decided to do.
That's very one-sided of you.
What a dick. What a-
Many people think so, DJ. Damn you.
I know.
That's okay, man. They don't know you. You're a
I'm
sweetheart.
cool with it, dude. Like I'm way about it.
Right.
So.
Fuck it, man. What
I
are you gonna
swear
do?
to God, I love it. So like.
You know what? Some people thrive on it. Some people fucking can't handle it. you know?
No, I really like it because their friends go and look up our band. And
Right.
like, just please, the more you talk about it, it's like positively or negatively.
Right.
Clearly, we got something going on, so like it just helps us in any way.
Right.
Like, positive. So.
Right. Langan, what shows are you going to that are coming up soon? I know you always have a full calendar.
I need the rest of the show.
So tomorrow is 50 Cent.
Fitty?
You have to say 50. You
Yeah.
can't say 50 like DJ does. It's 50 cents. And he's doing a meet and greet at the most ghetto liquor store in the cities. So come.
Whoa.
It's pretty.
Not throw words like ghetto around.
It's rough. But that'll be fun. It's cool that like someone that big is doing a free meet and greet.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
to the guys
At a liquor store.
from North Minneapolis, I think we can find more ghetto liquor stores, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
On the corner of Penn and Broadway.
Yeah, man.
That's a good one.
That's where.
That's a good one.
That's where we hang. That's where I hang out currently. Still.
That's because you're baller, dude. You got street cred. Nobody wants to fuck with Bobby.
It is kind of weird.
That's awesome. So back to you, Bill. As far as the trophies, how did you pick out the trophies, the goblets of doom?
Actually, that's when I was in the hospital getting taken care of. So I actually had Langen actually took care of, helped out with that, and she picked them out and got them all lined up. So she was a huge help with this while I was in the hospital too.
I didn't realize, even holding it and drinking out of it, that it had that cool gray swirly in it until you guys took a picture of it. I was like, damn, that's a really cool fucking trophy. And you had those all engraved with the winners of the awards themselves.
Yep.
I mean, that's going pretty above and beyond of what you were doing.
Well, I mean, they got it. Like I said, I was just doing it so that their people are recognized and rewarded for their hard work.
Sure.
What an asshole.
So
How dare you?
I know. What can I say? And then we actually had Dr. Decibel, Nick. He actually threw in a bunch of gift cards for all the winners.
Yeah.
Like the individual winners got a big one, and then each band, all the members got a gift card from him too. So
Yeah. I went to
huge
their
shout out to-
website the following day just to check it out too. So he got some promotion out of that deal too.
He
Well, I think
donated quite a
the dudes
bit.
in
So
Barrett are gonna go get some earplugs. So
I really wish I would have pumped him a little bit more. I know that to have somebody give that much towards the event. I wish I would have pushed that a little bit more. Next year, if you choose to do so, are there thoughts of having anybody come on to maybe sponsor the show? Maybe guitar places or gear companies or anything like that? Is that
well, I was actually going to try to hit some up this year, but obviously I was indisposed. But
Sure.
I was going to hit up a couple of the other places around, just all the local shops and see. So yeah, I mean, if I do it next year, that's definitely something I'll be looking to do to
Sure.
see if maybe anybody wants to get their name on in an award.
Right.
Just whatever. We'll see if we can.
Yeah, on the flyer, anything that's going to help.
Yep.
I mean, have them come and put their banners up somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's always good to have sponsors. Not even to help pay for the shit, but just to get the word out there. You can go to their shop and put your flyer up there or whatever. You know, and everybody likes to have their stuff on big flyers like that. Dude, it was a success. All I got to say is, close to 400 people or 400 people, you were close to walling out the whole room,
Right.
to where they're going to take that down. Hearing the bartenders talk about it after everybody left was really cool. What was really shitty though is the one bartender was a complete dickhead. Yeah, I don't know if you guys had any.
Was it a dude?
Kind of a bigger, bulkier dude, kind of a stockier dude, brown hair.
Bald, brown hair.
Brown hair.
But he's not that tall.
No, he's
Like 2 inches shorter than me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So here's the thing is that we were there the whole night. We were there the whole night. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I walked up and you gave me a couple drink tickets. So I said, can I get a Jameson ginger ale? And he goes, no. And I go, like, did I get cut off? And he's like, you just can't get Jameson ginger ale. You can only get rail drinks. And then walked away. And I'm like, what the fuck, So then he came back and I go, I want a Jameson ginger ale. He said, I told you not with that ticket. And I go, I don't give a fuck about the ticket. I want a drink, And he just kind of looked at me like I was the dick. And I just kind of looked at him and I go, what the fuck is this guy's deal? So then he was like, like pouring my drink. And so I sat there and I talked to a bunch of people, came up and talked to me. And as I was talking to them, all of a sudden he wanted to be in the conversation and like interacting with me, and I'm just kind of, what is this
All
fucking
of a sudden,
guy's
he
deal?
wants your tip.
Something like that.
If you don't
I mean,
want to be at your job, don't
fuck
be, all right?
off.
Trump's
Exactly,
building
dude.
a wall right now.
Exactly, dude. That's what I'm saying.
You only got a few days left to get this job,
Dude, at the
so-
very end of the show, there were two guys that walked up, and I go, what's good here, man? I want something to eat. I'm fucking starving. I haven't eaten anything.
Sliders
A drink.
are insane.
Yeah, dude, they were so good. So I got a hamburger, right? I'm eating the hamburger, and these two guys walk up and go, hey, where's that one bartender, the guy with the brown hair, the stockier guy? And he goes, oh, he's around here somewhere. Why? What's going on? He goes, I just want to tell you, that dude's an asshole. And they just shredded this guy. And the dude handled it so well. He just goes, hold on a second, man. So give me something I can go back and critique what he's doing. Like, be positive about being negative. You know what I mean? Like he's telling them, give me some constructive criticism to go back to the guy. And they were just so frustrated. They're like, that dude's a prick. They'd walk off. I was just like, yeah, all right. You got your point across.
That same night, I actually sat down at the bar for maybe 10 minutes and just waited for him to just take my order for food.
Yeah.
And so I eventually left and went to the burger bar down the street and got a turkey burger.
That's unfortunate, man.
I
that
hope
people
someone
are like,
at the Amsterdam is listening right now, and
I
you
doubt
missed
it.
out on
They're not.
$11 freaking dollars.
Yeah. 7. Thanks for coming, dudes. Yeah. Be safe. Drive safe.
Drummer of the year leaving the building.
So yeah, man. I mean, that was kind of a drag, but you know, I mean, what the fuck can you do, man?
Well, I mean, if that's 2 people now that they lost money out of,
right?
I mean,
Could have
there's
been
gotta be,
multiples.
yeah.
With 400 people in the room, you know, there's got to be other people that were like, this dude's a dink, you know. But hey, it is what it is. So, who did you go through for the trophies, Langan?
God, what was the name of that? Oh, Crown Trophy in West St. Paul.
West St. Paul?
Yeah.
And what made you decide to get the Goblets of Doom?
We wanted something that was big and showy.
Yeah.
They were not for drinking out of, Eric. They were not for
The
drinking out
second
of.
you saw there was a cup, you were drinking out of that fucking
The
thing.
lady even said, I need to be a mom here and tell you, you should put like saran wrap in it if you're going to drink out of it.
I fully expect all of ours to rust out.
I didn't have the idea until Greg said something about it. The first award you handed out, you said someone should drink from this.
Yeah.
And
You
I
guys
had to
came
do
up
it.
like the second one after that and fucking pounded from it. It was awesome. I loved it. It was great. And then you let me drink from it. That was even cooler. I'm like, fucking, I go, well, I was going to pour. You go, here, man, fucking pour some PBR in there. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a good time, man. Dude, I've thoroughly had a great time. It was so much fun. And dude, just to be able to extend the love and try to spread the love to people. I mean, a few of those people might have listened to the podcast before. What was funny is someone said, we should start a drinking game for how many times that dude mentions his podcast. That was so funny. And I'm like, he told me to, you know, I don't.
Although I think it should be brought to attention to like how great of a job you did.
Off, dude.
For real. I mean,
Yeah.
for real. Like,
Yeah.
to think that you had to keep everyone's attention for so long and
The attention
you did a
was,
great job.
dude, what was great about the whole thing is that the whole night stayed, you know, everybody stayed the whole night. You know, it started to trickle off like at the very, very end, but everybody stayed. Everybody wanted to see if it was, dude, the only thing that I'm sitting there and I'm trying to keep things going, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, do I interact with the guys that are talking, you know, and I don't want to be that guy to go, "Rah," you know, like throw stupid jokes, but when you have a room full of people and you're doing a podcast, it's so much easier because other people are throwing shit back at you, giving you feedback or talking, you know, anything. So I'm just like looking at the time going, holy shit, Bill, what do we do? What are we going to do? I don't know, man. Just keep going with it. We're going to just keep going. And I'm like, all right, we'll just keep going. You know, I was finally, and what I felt bad because I felt like I kind of was messing with the Opinion Brewery guy, and he was really cool
Oh, Nick, yeah.
and I felt like
I think I missed that.
I was
I missed it too, now I need to know.
You missed everything.
I just mentioned to him that St. Paul really doesn't have, other than the Amsterdam, they don't have very many bars that cater to. I mean, Amsterdam stopped really catering to local bands, anymore. Yeah. So it's kind of one of them things, So I wanted to point that out to the crowd so they would want to contact Opinion to do, because they do have a nice little club down there, and the sound system's great and the all that other stuff. But I just wanted to give him love for opening the damn club and being able to do it, So, but I also kind of felt like I stepped the line with people that that I'm friends with too. I was kind of, I don't know. It was I said, dude's not here because he didn't pay to play. You know what I mean? I was like taking shots at other people.
I was actually super appreciative personally of like how truthful you just were overall about the event, because you didn't just like keep the pace of the show going, but at the very beginning too, you had your little speech where you kind of, you asked everyone if they paid to play, and you dropped a lot of truth on people. So if anyone was there that was on the fence about what maybe pay to play was, or who's involved in it, or any salty feelings towards each other in bands, I think you erased a lot of that. And I know I talked to Bobby, but he was saying a lot of people that had had some salt with him came up to him at the show and was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry." So I mean, I think that ultimately it was a.
I mean, did that happen, Bobby? I mean, were there
it was. I told DJ, like, honestly, it was kind of a nightmare for me. I mean, there's a lot of people coming up talking, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry for that shit I said," and just like they're like I don't know, buzzed and spilling beer. Like 2 people spilled beer on me, talking to me. It was weird.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was
I
I was appreciative though. That was cool.
I think it goes to show that
was
like
nice.
how well of a job you did, kind of melding and making everyone feel comfortable there, and what the true point of the show was.
Right.
Because there were probably some people that went there with the whole "fuck this" attitude, like
Right.
I'm only going because my one friend was gonna win something, and after
Sure.
that I'm bailing.
Yeah.
You did a really good job of, I think, throughout the night making everyone understand that. There's a lot of people that weren't nominated that are right now having conversations with people that are nominated.
Sure.
That now, throughout the next year, they're going to be playing shows together, and it's going to make that band that wasn't nominated get more recognition for playing on the shows of the bigger bands that
Right.
were nominated.
Yeah.
And it's going to help them, and for just word of mouth and camaraderie and bringing the scene together,
Sure.
it just did so much positive that 5 or 6 negative people saying stuff online, like
Sure.
it doesn't mean anything.
Right. And I don't know. Bill and I know each other from, we did the podcast together. And the reason that I really wanted to have him on in the first place is because I don't know many people like me. You know what I mean? Like, I promote everybody's shit. I don't care. And like I said, with some of my other friends who have shit talked some of my guests on here, I've told them directly, like, send that shit to them because I don't want to fucking see it. Like, even if I agree with you,
We'll gladly take it, just so you know.
this is like Switzerland. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not biased. I mean, I'm not siding with anyone. Like, if somebody's got beef, if the guys that were beefing with you on that entire post wanted to come in and sit across from you and have an intelligent conversation of why they feel the way they do about you or why you feel the way you do about them and hash it out just to talk it out, whether you guys stand up and go, fuck that guy, and you say, fuck them, I don't really give a shit. Your point is invalid to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I
that whole
welcome
thing.
any of that, for sure.
But here's the sad thing about it is human nature doesn't allow that. You have to be more intelligent than the fucking, the serpent brain you got. You know what I mean? Like, instantly you go back to that let's fight or flight type of shit. You want to fist fight over somebody's disagreements, man. You can't just say, I disagree with what you say, man. And you can say whatever you want, but it doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of people are so afraid to fucking stop their own drama and bullshit to just say, hey, okay, well, I'm over here, you're over there, so be it. We're still going to keep. And basically, on one of those posts, I know that I said, is that going to affect your day-to-day life, whether or not this show did bad or it didn't? I feel that it affected everybody. Bill and I have had the work, kind of the business relationship as far as we started talking a lot more. And I extended Bill to come and be my co-host on here because I don't have one. And other people have offered it. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know if it's going to work. Where Bill and I feel, are on the same page and working towards a goal, not only for, not for ourselves, but for the betterment of the community. You know what I mean? It's not like we're activists or anything. We're doing something for a scene that we believe in. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many talented musicians and so many bands with so much ego. You know what I mean?
You can't talk sense into some people, though.
No,
matter how much sense I saw you say some really truthful things online. Same with Will. Same with myself. Same with anyone else. And you say no matter how much truth you drop on someone, they've already got their opinion made up, and it's just words on a screen. A lot of time, I doubt they even read it.
But here's the thing: is that I'm like a fucking a door-to-door Bible salesman. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in the talent in this city so much that regardless of if I can't make an impact today, I feel like just a little bit's going to leak in eventually, and I'll slowly wear them down. It's like the really hot chick that you're friends with that you're waiting to break up with her boyfriend, that you go, I wear it down, baby. I'm still here. Hey, come cry on my shoulder. That kind of shit. That's what I'm talking about. Because eventually they're going to see that, but my whole rambling was starting with Bill and I becoming more friends and talking about the scene and doing stuff for the scene. And when I was up there talking about that, granted, I'd done a ton of podcasts with a lot of the bands in the room, but I thought it was something that Bill and I never had this conversation of what I was supposed to do up there. I like direction. I like I want to put out.
It's cool that he trusted you just to go up there and do your thing.
And that's
a lot about your show. And
I think I pulled that out of that as well, to where he just said, do what you do. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, I got to keep this pretty, straightforward. But at the same time, I really felt like I was able to express how we both feel, in the scene. He is putting this award show on selflessly for people that he believes in. He wants to help them get to the next level, or more likes, more hears, people to come to their shows. More, he wants to support the people that he likes, you know what I'm saying? And I feel exactly the same way with everybody. If you're out here busting your ass, whether you're playing, the part-time gig or the all-the-time gig or putting on major shows, I want everybody to know that. I want, if Bobby's not, possibly hitting all the people that he, wants to hit, and I can hit 5 people that have never seen any of his flyers. That's all I want. Yep. You know what I mean? Because if Bobby does well, we all do well, because he's giving it back to everybody else in the scene as well. And a lot of people want to either jump on the bandwagon and take advantage of working hard and proving something, not only to themselves and their band, but to the rest of everybody in this fucking town. You know what I mean? I can be on a Bobby show and sell all my tickets, and Bobby will continue to put me on those shows. You're earning your spot, right? And a lot of people are afraid of that. And I think that, I want to be able to facilitate anything when it comes to uniting people. And it's so difficult to get anybody to agree on anything, even in your own band. You got 5, 6 guys, 4 or 5, 3 guys. To get you all on the same page is pretty difficult. It's very difficult.
Competition's kind of like a good thing, too.
It is a good thing.
I think we mentioned that before, too, maybe on ours, is, it brings the best out in people. And if you don't think competition's a good thing, then you're not ready to compete. And I fully believe that. So if you have a problem with how the Mettys were run, or how your band's doing, or
do it yourself.
Scene, I mean, yeah, man, just get out there and do it. I mean, no one's gonna come out there and hand anything to you.
Right. And again, like you said, the competition really does bring either the good or the bad out of you.
I know that for a fact that next year everyone's gonna bring it because of the Mettys.
Right.
So we can't put out the same caliber videos and stuff to win next year.
Sure.
But do you think that we're not going to slow down.
Right.
And I don't think any other band should try to stop chasing, the bigger bands. And I don't think we should try to stop chasing, who we look up to. And I think ultimately it's just going to make everyone better.
Right.
There's no one that's going to be trying harder this year that's going to get worse.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. Now, do you feel, Bill, that as far as united, do you think it brought people together more so than dividing it? I know we've kind of touched on it as far as, there's only a handful of people who really, really have been super, vocal about the whole thing.
Right. I honestly, I don't know. I mean, it was a great night. I thought people were there doing what I was hoping for. A lot of people were networking, talking. I'm sure it divided it a little more than would I would have wanted it to, but I mean, I can't control that. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just hard to, I don't know. I mean, I could see it divided somewhere because I see it on Facebook.
Sure.
Obviously, but then
it's got to be real if it's on Facebook.
Well, of course, if it's on the internet, right? It's real.
You saw how excited Matt was that he got that award. I mean, he was hyped, And I think you saw pictures of Liz, who won her.
Yep.
Like, everyone who's won an award was extremely proud of that.
Right.
Right.
And it did a lot of good things for people who won, and not only the people that were nominated. Like, you were saying that Eric Moen's mom or something, like, didn't she call him, like, thank you or something like that?
I got a message that said, thanks for, doing what you did.
Families are getting involved into it.
Right.
So, I mean, it was a big thing for more than just...
Sure. They see you chew on that, take a bite of that big bone. I mean, that's an undertaking for your child, to watch your child go through all of that up and down. You know what I mean? They want you to, succeed so far beyond what you're doing. You know what I mean? Have you given up on that? That dream.
I mean, Eric Moen's an awesome drummer,
right.
and Blue Felix is a sick live band.
Right.
So just being nominated alongside any of those drummers, of course, they should be hyped.
Yeah.
Like, everyone that was involved in it, there's 40-some, 50 bands nominated.
Right.
I mean, I'd hardly call it one-sided if 50 bands were nominated,
right.
Or was it 40 or what? It's hard to say that it was one-sided of 40 bands nominated. That's ridiculous.
Well, how many bands was Matt in? 3, 3 or 4?
3.
So there's 3 there. Yeah. So tack on all those other.
Was all those bands nominated?
Portraits, Etheric, and
Etheric wasn't.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were.
Was, yeah.
What's his other band?
I'm drawing a blank because he's not here.
Oh, Immorales. Matt, call in real quick. Where the fuck are you?
All right.
Come back real quick. No, I think it's Immorales, Portraits of War, and Etheric, I think.
I think it was Immorales. Well, obviously, yeah, because of Immorales.
But they were on Show of the Year, I think, right?
Yeah, for Winter Meltdown.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Immorales.
Bobby's Crown Festival of the Year.
Proof.
I mean, I even got heat though because some of the bigger bands like Head Charge and After the Burial, you know, I saw why weren't these bands nominated?
Why weren't they?
To me, they're not. They're national acts now. They're bigger than what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help the smaller bands. Not. I mean, these guys are nationally touring acts, so that's why I don't. I mean, of course they're from here, which is awesome.
Right.
But to me, they're not.
They did release an album in 2017.
You
or
named
16.
an award off after the burial.
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's like the ultimate.
Right.
Right. I mean, wouldn't that be cool to be?
I would think so. Fuck.
Cool.
That's better than winning an award.
You have a one named after you.
Right.
That's sick.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I look at Head Charge as they're one of the bigger bands that come out of here, so I don't see them as our
They
local.
broke up this year.
Well, they're still going.
They're
still
just
going.
yeah.
They hit another roadblock.
They break up all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were mentioned in my opening statement too. You know, with you know, we're kind of known for those bands.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and I would agree with you. And it's sad to see people, you know, bellyache about it. And at the same time, it's like, you know, you're right. They have, you know, succeeded beyond just the local realm. You know,
I mean, if I do one next year, I mean, I'm thinking about doing like a Hall of Fame, and
Sure.
then you know,
right.
I already have a few bands that I could think of that would belong in that Hall of Fame.
Sure.
So I mean, we'll see what if I do.
Yeah.
it
Thanks,
next year.
Bill. Thank you.
That's great.
That's more money. More money under the table.
My jaw already hurts from this year.
So presenters, you had quite a wide gambit of presenters as well. How did you grab all of those folks? And you forgot one.
Yeah, I did. I thought I had enough, and of course, obviously, I didn't. But I just went with I did a post too because I was short a few and just said whoever.
Right.
You know, and I actually got hit up by quite a few people that wanted to do it, and I said, I've got enough. And then of course I look and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm short now.
Right.
I'm short 2 more, but I mean, whatever, it worked out. But I just went with people in the scene. Just, you know, I just wanted to try to get as many people involved in it that I could.
Right.
For what I put together. So.
Yeah. You had some good ones. The Spaceman I Am guys. Those cats
Pete
were
Naney,
nice.
yeah.
those guys.
So nice.
Dude, those guys put on a, you know, they said a nice little thing before, and I was like, damn, how come everybody else didn't do this shit?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, I mean, that's everybody asks. You know, do we need to do a speech? I'm like, just, you know, say who you are, what you do. I
Sure.
mean, you know, you don't have to go crazy with it or
Right.
anything. So, I know Langen didn't like the whole idea about a speech or anything. So,
Right. So were you you're just not into that standing up in front of folks. I mean, you said that you're like, I'm always the one in the corner, like, you know, chilling, watching
Yeah,
the show.
there's a reason I hide behind a computer.
Right.
No, I was in heels and shit. I didn't want to fall, and I was already drunk, and I was gonna say something stupid, and there were people looking at me in a dress, and no, it was bad.
Dude, you look good in the dress, by the way.
Wah, wah.
I said that as soon as you got on stage. I'm like, you look beautiful.
I gave her a hug that night. I
Right?
got a big
Did
old
you?
hug. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
And a drunken embrace.
So how drunk were you when you got up there? Were
I
you,
may or may not have been cut off at the bar that I was pre-gaming at.
wow, nice.
I was nervous. I was so nervous.
You didn't seem nervous, Bill. You even handled it well, dude. I was expecting you to just go.
I thought I was gonna puke. I mean, as soon as it had me come up, and I got up on stage, and I'm like, the first time I've ever done anything like that. And I kind of looked out, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, well,
and he's
there's no turning
the
back.
guy who's fucking looking for all the, you know what I mean. He's the dude who's
Mention everyone or just
Yeah.
leave everyone in your underwear.
right.
I just kind
We
of
said that
went
too.
with it. was
I
just
also
like, all
don't
right.
think any of us were expecting that many freaking people.
Right.
So when you get up stage and you do see how many people are out there, you're like, oh shit.
right.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Why you instantly started drinking out of the. Why do you think that happened?
I had people on my Facebook page or send me messages like, dude, thank you for letting me drink from the Metty. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I can't remember talking to you. Like,
Dude, which one did you guys lose?
oh, so it was actually Kaz brought it home because he was.
We didn't lose.
Oh, okay.
He was drinking from it.
Right? And
So
you just
like,
brought
so
it
he
with
just
you
brought
home?
it home. Yeah.
That's
I have this
awesome.
like vague
But he
picture
took
in my
it home,
head.
but he was dead to the world the next day, so we couldn't get a hold of him. So
Right.
we didn't know if he had it or not.
He hit us
I was
up.
busy sleeping,
Yeah.
and then drinking, and then sleeping.
Dude, you had such a big smile on your face, man. Like, you did a great job here. You gave you a big old hug, and you just were like, smiling and thumbs up. It was excellent. It was so good, man. No, really, you did a great job. That's fucking great, man. So much fun.
Well, he wasn't there for like the second half of it. I saw pictures the next day where we were on the stage like talking, and I'm in the microphone. I don't remember giving that speech. And then Eric's chugging onto one of the Mettys, and Diggs like messing with two of the Mettys, and Cause is not in the picture. So I was kind of thinking like, all right,
Diggs,
maybe
were you fucking screwing the bottoms off of them or what?
I know. I got stuck trying to open one of those black envelopes at one point.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
A little drunk, so.
He said that before we came here. He's like, he spent like 5 minutes like messing with this like envelope while everyone was talking.
Not 5 minutes, but
Well,
I was just standing on a stage with everybody looking at us. It's just embarrassing. This is how you open an envelope.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
So what? Let me see here. There were people videotaping as well and taking photos of the.
Yep. Yeah, I had three camera guys. A buddy of mine, Jason Anderson. He's got his own like a YouTube show. It's called Off Constantly.
Sure.
So he's a producer in that too with like public access. So he's like, hey. He offered up. He said, I can get you, we can do 3 camera guys. I'll walk around, do some interviews. So,
sure.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for him to get it all edited up now. And then as soon as I have it, I'll post it. I'll have it on the page. And
I have to give fucking On It. Anybody know Joe Rogan's podcast? Anybody listen to that? So he has a company named On It that does supplements and shit like that. And he always talks about Alpha Brain. Yeah. And the night of the show, I had 2 Alpha Brain in my pocket. And I've had good experiences with it, doing the podcast. It helps you focus really well. It's not jittery, like weird, speedy type of shit. So I ate 2 Alpha Brain, drank half a Mountain Dew, and then I started drinking whiskey. And dude comes up and gives me an interview, and I've never felt so fluent with talking ever. I was just, he's going, so how did you get involved? I mean, I talk a lot, but I was on fucking point with this dude. And that's why I was like, I got to see this fucking, I probably, Yeah, you were really on
Joe
point,
Rogan
bro.
and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, exactly. This Joe Rogan got me swollen up. Yeah, dude, it was fun. So I'm excited to see the videos.
yeah, so I'm not sure
how much of an ass I look like.
I'll have to find out and see how long it'll take. I know he said it's going to take him a little while because they got a lot of footage. So they're going to
3 cameras.
Yep. Yeah, and they had one that was like stationary, and then they had the 2 walking around, and
So
Jason was
6.
interviewing
They had
everybody.
one outside when we got out of the limo.
Yep, yeah, we had
So
one
there's,
sitting outside
when the
too.
limos were showing
Yeah,
up, there was people.
yep.
That's
Yeah, so
cool
they had-
too, man.
yeah, so
People
they're
came in
all over.
limos and
Yep.
fucking.
Yeah,
I think we did.
I
Buried.
know
and,
Gaddy did. Gadda did.
Gadda
too,
did.
right?
Yep,
did.
yep. And I thought I heard somebody else did too.
Bluefield or
Bluefield. Yeah, I saw Eric posting about it, looking for it. He said they were trying to find looking for a
maybe
limo
Rain,
driver. So
Endless Rain.
Yeah, well, but
Or Mike Rain, or Mike Bloodfist got his own
Yeah, right.
yeah,
on his own.
Yeah, just balling,
Scarface.
balling, dude, with this suit. That was one of the highlights of that boat show. Was him on the boat in a suit.
Well,
and
first of all, it
giant,
was his
giant
birthday.
cigar.
It
Dude,
was
that
his
was
birthday,
awesome.
so he was walking around with a suit and a cigar. Yeah, he was having a good time.
Dude, that was really cool.
Shout out to Mike Bloodfist.
Yeah, balling it up, sir. Yeah, man. All in all, it was a fucking amazing time. I'm really curious to see about the video and how that all turned out.
yeah. I can't wait to see.
I mean,
that
3
too.
camera angles is my head is gonna look gigantic from either angle. This
You had the little hat on, remember? So you're good.
the Popeye wimpy hat. Yeah, got it, fuckers. Negatives and positives. Can you guys give me some more negatives and positives about any of this? More positives than negatives.
Positive, like I said, I mean, I thought I talked to a bunch of people I never met before, and that was super cool. And I made connections with people that had previously tried to reach out to Buried, maybe, or whatever the case was, that, we got a chance to talk face to face, which was cool.
Sure.
I thought the only negative was I was so incredibly drunk, and there were so many people that I wanted to fucking talk to that I didn't know who to pay attention to. It was like that was the only negative, is that there were so many people that I wanted to see under one roof that I just was just like, hey, what's up? That's cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna walk away. Oh, hey, there's another person. Same thing. So it was just the only negative is social overload.
Right.
Which was amazing. That's why I loved
Positive,
it.
negative.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. There's a lot of people to talk to. I felt like I was bouncing off, and I wasn't even nominated. It was just
Jared, who was just sitting here, he messaged me the next morning. He's like, I can't believe I didn't even see you once. And I was like, it's true. I didn't run into him one time.
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like not that big of a place.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people there, and I just felt like everyone was like talking to person after person after person.
Right.
No, I think I talked to you a little bit about this too. I was talking to Eric from Etheric.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool to have all of us in one spot where we don't have to play a show.
Yeah.
Like we got to just hang out. Like I only see these dudes and shit like when we have to play a show.
Right.
So we just got to kind of relax and
You can't really drink that much if you're, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I think we proved that.
I mean, you can't drink as much as you could if you weren't playing the show.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
If you're opening or whatever.
Worrying about gear and all, you know, getting into the studio and fucking being able to get to the studio, you know, things like that. That's a downfall when it comes to that.
Had to figure out how to get your shit somewhere.
I think that there's
right place again. And
there were a lot of people at the very last minute. There were no shows, and I think they really missed out on that.
Yeah, I was getting messages too. I got quite a few. Oh shit, I can't make it now. Sorry, have a good time, you know. And I was quite a few. I mean, you're standing there too when I was getting a couple of them. So,
Right.
But I think Eric actually was one of them from Etheric, and he showed up. I didn't get to see him.
Right.
But him and his wife showed up. Yeah. So that's. Yeah,
And he really had some positive things to say on some posts that I saw as well, which is really cool when you have somebody like Eric who is, you know, he's such a nice guy and honest at the same time.
Right.
He's not malicious in any way.
Yep.
And had a lot of cool things to say about it, you know. What do you think you would have done? What are you gonna try to do different if you were to do it again?
I added maybe a couple of different categories, kind of change a few of the categories around.
Right.
And then, you know, get another committee kind of built up with maybe a few different people in it, and kind of, like I said, everybody bring in kind of what they think should be on a category, and we all just kind of
Bring girls to announce the categories would be cool.
We could do that.
Hold on a second. Who was that girl who was handing out the
Jessica?
deal?
Yeah, Jessica Parker.
Who is she from? Where's she at?
She's just a friend of ours from the scene, really.
That girl is fine as hell. I was like, every time, and I don't know if it was the whiskey talking or what the deal was, because she kept walking by and I was just, damn, like, holy shit, man. And she was a sweetheart too. Like afterwards, she was super
She's
cool.
super cool.
Yeah,
Super
she
nice.
was super cool. Gorgeous, man. That was a last minute gem right there.
Yeah, one of her friends that she was with asked, she goes, "You should have her do the award." I'm like, so I asked her, I'm like, "You want to do it?" And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "I'll do that." I'm like, "All right, well."
She was dressed for it. She definitely she looked nice. That was for sure.
She's 16, bro.
Oh, I'm horrible then.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wouldn't be the first time, dude. And I'd just be like, oh my God, I am an old fucking pervert. Dude, they don't look like they did when I was a kid. You could tell girls were a certain age when I was a kid. Now you can't tell at all, man. I've been at the mall and just kind of, you know, like look over and double take and see the dad go, like, what are you looking at, you old fat fucker? You know what I mean? And I feel like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's her dad. You know what I mean? I literally followed a girl in the
she's
mall.
wearing like dental floss.
Dude,
and you're like, what am I
Maplewood
fucking
Mall, I followed a chick that was with her dad, and I mean, she was older than I think she was. I hope. But I actually followed her going, God damn. God damn. And like I let her walk around and come back, and then I would like sideways. God damn. She had an ass on her. I had to follow. I wanted to bite it.
You had no choice.
No, I didn't. I was. It was calling to me, man. Yeah. Yes, I just let out the pervertedness. Anybody have any suggestions? Suggestions for maybe some ideas that you would suggest to Bill about doing
More bands. I think it'd be cool to have a couple more bands. Would be cool.
to play?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's right. It sucked. It was only 10 minutes a set. I mean, it would have been cool if it was a little longer, just to give more. But yeah,
like at the Grammys, they sometimes will have like a pre-party where like
Right.
3 or 4 bands will play the
Sure,
pre-party, which
sure.
will bring people in ahead of time, so that
Right.
more people are there for the actual red carpet ceremony.
Right.
That could be kind of cool. Like have some bands playing before it actually
Right.
really starts.
There were a lot of people that actually did the red carpet.
Yeah.
And what was cool is that after they paid, and then there were, you know, I walked up to like 4 or 5 bands and go, "Are you going to walk the red carpet?" And they're like, "We're not dressed for that shit." And I go, "Doesn't matter. Show support for the scene. You should do it." And then,
Right, yep.
then they walk over there. Well, I'll grab my other guy, and then they walk over and, you know, just waved or threw up, you know, the metal signs or whatever. That was pretty cool that they were, you know, other bands were willing to do that, and they didn't have to. They weren't nominated or anything like that, but they went over there to do it.
Yeah, that's what it was
the red
there
carpet
for.
Was like what Bill said, it was for everybody.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like if you're from the scene, you
You can walk that
yeah,
carpet.
whether you're
yeah.
nominated or not, like you got the recognition at
Right.
the red carpet. Like
Yep.
people
Right.
are gonna take your picture, and interview you and you were gonna feel important. at
See,
least
dude,
for that part of the night.
that's what I really meant about being up there, being the host for it. Is I felt that I could say exactly what you said for Bill. You know what I mean? Like we talked a little bit about certain things, you know, but it all gelled really well. And the messages that were put across, you know, as far as like the pay to play thing, I really wanted to tap into that because I thought it was something that everybody needed to hear. You know, unifying everybody in the room and trying to get them to do exactly what you wanted them to do is network with each other and open dialogue for other people. And what a perfect spot, you know, have a few drinks, get loose, get lubed up and get ready to go. You know what I mean? I thought that was, I think it achieved its goal.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going. I mean, going for like just a big party and you know, just some awards in between there. But I mean, that was the biggest thing is just everybody to enjoy themselves and start talking.
Anybody else have any suggestions more?
I felt like one of the biggest things for me was a lot of people were hitting. I felt like a lot of people were hitting us up and being like, "Well, if I come, like, are you gonna have a drink with me?" And I'm like, "Why would I not? Even if it was at the show, like, I would have a drink with you regardless." So I thought it was really cool to have like a fan band interaction, just that it was open to everybody to be there. So you had a lot more intimate one-on-one time with the people that you might not be able to have that time for because you're busy running merch or you're running gear out, or you're doing this, or you're about to get on stage. So just to have that interaction with people that you don't normally get to have that time with and make them feel like, look, like, you know, when you see me, it's at a show, it's hectic. It's not always awesome. And sometimes it actually really sucks to try to talk to you at a show because you know, there's 100,000 things going on.
And there's always a backlash too, where people think, oh, well, he's, you know, too much of a, you know, whatever to sit down and talk to me for a second when you're just going, you're all about business. You're getting things done.
Exactly. And, you know, later on having to try and explain that, you know, over text or Facebook or whatever, you know, sometimes
That's
it
one of the
feels
reasons why
empty.
it'll grow in the future, though, is because like what he's saying is everyone will be able to connect at this show.
Sure.
You know, whether or not what you believe in, at who's deserving or what, like everyone got to connect with each other. Is like kind of what he's saying, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Like fans and bands alike, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to some more tunes. We've got a little bit more to go here. Stick around, folks. We got some more stuff. So we got some Hate Beast. I'm sorry. Hypnotic Worm. Does that sound right? Emir. Fit for an Autopsy and Gojira coming up here. Stick around. We'll be back. Here I am fucking things up really good. Ritual Madness podcast, and I missed my call there. How you guys doing? Anyways, you enjoying yourselves this evening? Anyone? Bueller, you guys having a good time?
Shit sucks.
Shit sucks.
Amazing.
Pay to play.
Funny. Yes, pay to play all day. Pay to play all day.
Pay to podcast.
Yeah, pay to podcast. You want to be on the podcast? I'll have you.
You have to have a podcast called the Pay to Podcast. That'd be a good one. But actually, I swear to God,
I like that.
And then you just give them $5.
Yeah. Right.
So they give you $5.
Yeah, they got to give me $5.
Yeah. Pay me to fucking.
Just a burrito from Chipotle gift card would be fine.
There you go. Yeah, man.
Punch pizza.
Yes, punch pizza.
Absolutely. So all in all, this was a good experience. Yes, you would think.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So, Bill, the $1 million question is, do you think you're going to have a year two?
I'm still up in the air, but I'm leaning more towards yes. So we'll see what happens.
Shit, man, you know it's yes.
We'll see what happens.
You know what, man? I think that we talked about this from the very beginning. I think it is you'll shut everybody the fuck up when you come back the following year, even better and stronger.
Right.
Because honestly, dude, I was blown away. I mean, half hour before we're ready to open the doors, we're fucking around with that computer trying to get that shit together, and that sound guy was all over that shit, dude.
Right.
I had no idea. He was Googling. He's like, how do I hook this fucking projector up? He's sitting there with the remote trying to get this fucker to work. He's going, dude, it was just working. You know what I mean? And he's... Next thing I know, the shit's up there and it's working, and then it goes to those weird screens, and you're going, damn, I wish it would say Metty's the whole time. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was the whole time. And the videos were the shit, dude. That was really cool. Yeah. That really felt like a real award show with the music every time. And cool clips of the band. That takes a lot of time to sit down and.
Evan, the guy that made him, spent like 15 or
Yep,
16 hours
that was quite
making all the videos.
I mean, 15 or 16 hours. That means the guy knows what he's doing because it takes a lot
He
longer.
had to go find everyone's music,
Exactly.
everyone's
That's what I'm
pictures,
saying.
everyone's profiles,
Googling
pictures.
everybody's shit, trying to getting everybody in the
Not every band makes it easy to find your stuff either.
No.
Some of those bands, I'm sure, didn't have
and any
profile
band that's
pictures.
here or possibly listening to this podcast. So, as a promoter, Bobby can probably attest to this as well. When making flyers, the best thing for a band to do is to have something on their Facebook, just one folder that has all their logos, not with the frilly shit, just the simple logo that somebody can take and put on a fucking flyer. It is a nightmare to go grab one of Bobby's flyers and crop it, pull the name out of it, and then Photoshop the fuck out of it to get everything, just the logo to show up, and then it's all pixelated, go 300 DPI, and then splash it all out. It looks even worse.
You should have your Photoshop file.
Everybody should have that shit ready to go, man. A Facebook one, I mean, it kills the resolution of it, but just to have a logo for somebody to nab to put on a show flyer is key. That is like the thing that should be part of a guy's resume is like, okay, Facebook page, one folder, logos. That's it. All the show
I
flyers.
get pretty discouraged sometimes. Such
Yeah.
photoshopping logos.
Oh, it's a
cropping
fucking
and
nightmare,
taking
dude.
out,
It is such a nightmare. It takes forever,
taking
man.
out layers.
Yeah,
Someone like Bobby, he could probably say a lot about a band though. If they're like, "Yo, I need your logo," and then they're like, "Yeah, it's on page 6 of our SoundCloud."
Right.
Whatever. Like clearly, they're not going to have a really awesome show. And
Well,
Bobby,
he's
Bobby a lot about what kind of tickets they're going to sell.
Well,
what
dude,
kind of
even
work
you,
they're on.
hey, man, I'm gonna put the show together. Get me a logo, and somebody's like, they send you a fucking that same thing. Well, here's a link.
yeah,
You can't send me your fucking logo in high resolution directly.
I didn't ask for your link.
Right. Exactly. Dude, I have the same problem with the podcast too. I tell people, like, send me your music, and they'll send me a Bandcamp, like, go check it out. It's like, if I can't go there and fucking download 5 tracks to put on the station for your band, go fuck yourself. I'm
my
not
sister
following your
actually
links,
shared
man.
one of our live videos from Tuesday night. If you want to check that
Dude,
out,
I've had somebody say that. Can't you just take the audio from a YouTube?
Her name's Susan, and
No,
she's
dude,
on my
are you
Facebook
fucking-
friends list. So
Yeah.
just look her up. Her videos on there.
Yep, she got blonde hair, really big ass.
Getting real deep.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man.
Well, it's not that hard. Like, I mean, being a professional band is
Right.
really not that hard. Have
Right.
some logos.
Bullshit. Well, it's really fucking hard.
At the level we're talking about here,
Right.
like Greg said, just have some logos ready.
Right. Get some shit together, man. Yeah. So you're leaning towards yes.
Yeah, I mean that's right
Where the
now.
thought comes back to, yeah.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm leaning towards yeah. So
I would like to say we should definitely have somebody. I'm saying we because I would love to be a part of it, and I would love to have somebody just designated for that fucking computer.
Wait,
Because
does Barry have to pay Bill and Greg next year then?
well, yeah,
We have to pay
pretty
you both?
much.
it's
Pretty much.
it's gonna be how it
And if
works
you want
now.
to be in my blog.
Oh, now I gotta pay Langan now too?
Yeah.
She used to write for free. All right, I see what's up now.
cash them checks.
Well, yeah, I mean we got to make money, right?
Right. Because that's what it's all about.
Podcast,
Pay to
blog.
podcast, pay to blog,
Yeah, pretty much.
pay to bill.
Pay the bill to
Well,
bill.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, I think that you'd be foolish not to shut them fuckers up. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, well, like I said, if I can come back with like a couple new categories and change it up a little bit, so
I think we should put something together to submit to Crown Trophy to say, listen, man, we will put your flyers and your banners everywhere if you give us free trophies. We need 38,000 trophies for the
Make you a
next
trophy for the best trophy making.
right. Just a donkey.
And then they gotta make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what were some of the categories that we were talking about? The best promoter. What was the other one?
or best blog.
Yeah, the best blog.
I'd
Yep.
be down for best beard.
Or
That'd be a
we
good
could do.
one.
There's a lot of beards around. I'm sure we could definitely do that.
Get down with
Austin's
that.
like, come on, best haircut, best haircut. Say best haircut.
Jared wins that.
Yeah, that's funny. You didn't even hesitate to give them all nice haircut, by the
Dude,
way.
these guys are my homies. I think we can-
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great shit, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of different I mean, if I get a new committee or a newer committee, figure out different categories, and
Right.
I'm sure we can work something out and figure something out.
Right. I think that being willing to one, talk about all the stuff openly about what was all going on, dispel a lot of the things that people were saying online and the haters, and inviting, or at least encouraging them to continue hating. I mean, realistically, you're absolutely right, because, and somebody did point that out on one of your posts as well, is that if they weren't talking about it, I mean, it's already a week past, and people are still pissing and moaning about the shit. It's dying down slowly, but there's going to be, people saying fucking, we're going to get a trophy for this or that, and Yeah, well, I mean, they want a trophy that bad, just go to Crown Trophy and pick one up.
Bill told you where to make them.
I'll send you down there. Get you a deal, I'm sure.
Get one that looks just like that one.
We'll get you a knockoff.
Bill sent you.
That we should just give that to assholes. You know what I mean? Just
we can, make a mini version of one. I mean, we can do that too. A shot glass. Oh, well, there we go. Yeah.
That would be the shit.
The shitty. We'll just call it
the Metties and the
Metties and the shitties.
So it's on that back table where they were all lined up, just have these little mini ones.
Yeah. Just a little shot glass for them this time. They just
and for participation in the scene. Here you go.
Yeah, rainbow ribbons for everybody.
We can work something out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Fucking A. Well, I'm excited to see where it goes from here, man. I think it can only go up. You did a great job. First annual. I mean, you're gonna have roadblocks. You're gonna have bumps in the road. But I think in all, I mean, do you think you learned something from this whole experience?
I guess. I mean, I definitely learned how it's easily to piss people off when they, I mean, you're trying to do something good and people get pissed at you for it. So I guess fuck them. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, nothing you really can do about that, man,
Yeah, just got to grow a thicker skin, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a tough one.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Thicker beard. That's what it is. Beards deflect.
Oh, yeah. By far.
That's right. You were in the video, too.
You kept it this time.
Yeah. I had to. I figured what the heck. I kept seeing this hashtag bring back the beard, so I figured, screw it. I'll bring it.
Hell yeah, man. Nice thick beard. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I don't know anything about it. Mine's so gray it looks fucking, you can see through the bottom of it and shit.
It's working. Working. I'm over here heating up.
Getting all juiced up. Nice. Good deal. I feel sexy right now. All right. Well, yeah, man, I think this was a successful podcast. It was good and hit a lot of things for people to hopefully take a listen to and learn something from. I think that the main consensus was to unify everybody and to get everybody thinking on the same page and networking with each other. And I think you did a damn good job getting them in the same spot. A lot of people, near 400 people in the place. We were talking about that. All the shows that we go to hardly ever hit those kind of numbers, So that was pretty impressive for a non-show to be the show of the year. So you'll be nominated next year.
Oh, cool.
I'll put you in for that.
Metty wins the Metties every year.
The Metty of the year goes to the Metties. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll say something for the pay-to-play haters out there. I got the Board of Osiris manager texting me, grinding me about Royals.
Nice, dude.
On the show.
Oh, yeah?
Well, just grinding me about my two local bands, if they're going to sell all their tickets or not.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
It's just the pressure on my end, too.
Right.
It's not just, evil Bobby. There's a whole lot more involved.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, for anybody that doesn't understand it, Bobby's a businessman. He puts his fucking money up front to make things happen.
And
he expects you to do the same. So you either put the work in or you don't get anything for it. So
just let's get real. Who else are you gonna play at these shows? Like, who else is bringing these bands?
No one.
Nobody.
That's the case.
And not only are they not bringing these bands, but who else is bringing the bands and then putting local bands and giving them a chance to be on the bill in front of that many people?
Yep. I said that in front of 400 people. Like, let's
know.
be real, full on, man. Everybody
maybe
knows.
A third of them were stoked.
Yeah.
The truth hurts sometimes, man, and we just all got to look about the absolute truth of everything here.
Right. And we were talking about off the air as well. I know that we can't change everybody's mind. You know what I mean? But I believe and hold on to the fact that I personally feel that eventually you can change people's mind. You know what I mean? Or have them look at it in a softer light. You know what I'm saying? Like, it isn't as shitty as you think it is. You know what I mean?
Year 2 would be a very big way to make it continue. I mean, there was a lot of camaraderie in the building that night, and a second year would be a relapse of that, so to speak. You know, it's only going to get bigger and better every year.
Right.
And
I think there's a lot. There's a shit ton, and I mean, Bill knows this as well. You know, I mean, we all know this. There's a shit ton of talented musicians in this area.
Yep.
Ton in every genre.
probably too many for a 7-category award show. I mean,
Right.
that's really the way it is here.
Right, but you know, again, as you grow, that's gonna increase as well. I mean, I had one guy come up to me and talk about what he can do, what he can help out with, whether or not he's honest about it, and whether or not it was the booze talking. Either way, I was willing to hear him out because I was riding high on that whole deal too. You know, I really wanted, because my mind started thinking really fast, like, fuck, we could get these guys involved, and I think that they would be so receptive to that. Like, holy shit, yeah, this is really cool. Thanks for asking us to be a part of it. And it's not all soliciting funds or anything like that, but it would be nice for you not to have to put that out of your own pocket.
Right.
That's a big burden for somebody to take. Bobby takes that chance all the time, you know, but for a guy who doesn't do that, who wants to give to bands that he appreciates, you know what I'm saying? And their peers, you know what I mean? You're not in bands. You don't get the camaraderie you get is to show up and to be noticed at the show, that those guys go, that dude's been here 4 or 5 times. I've seen him. He bought a shirt and a CD. And I just seen on his Facebook page that he posted our flyer. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that's huge for people, man. Because nobody believes in their band as much as they do, but you're very close second to that, to those bands. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And as in the scene as well. I mean, as we've said this through the podcast, that the scene is now a bad word around here. You know, I think that it is a community, and it should be looked at as a community and not so much a scene.
Most of my best friends are part of the scene.
Right.
And I mean, like, the dudes in Royals and the dudes in 733 and,
Right.
and By the Thousands and just all these bands, like, they're my friends because of the scene.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not the only person that feels that way.
Absolutely.
Like, we're like a really big family.
I feel like every time I sit down with somebody and do a 3-hour podcast, because like you guys were talking about, when you're at a show, you only have a few minutes to speak with somebody, and it is in passing. You're trying to get your things done. You're trying to move your gear. You're trying to, have a cocktail, still enjoy the show, still put on a performance. There's a lot of variables there for people to not sit down and have a positive conversation. And I've even been called out on other podcasts to where they said, "Oh, I was so busy and too much of a rock star to sit down and talk to them." To where I was like, "Hey, man, it is what it is." You have to, sit down when you can and have a good conversation with people. And I feel, dude, when I, the Culture of Guys, Portraits of War, when I sat down with those guys that I've never really talked to or hung out with, I felt like next time I see them, those guys are going to make it a point to say what's up to me.
Absolutely.
Failing to wake that singer brought over 2 older cats that were at the show that night. He was with 2 older guys, and those guys sat and talked to me for 45 minutes just about the scene and just about the club that I'm in and things like that. Like, they were super interested in the whole
Did you hear
deal.
anyone from, the scene, I'm using quotation marks now, did you hear anyone from the scene really getting upset about the Mettys? It's usually, from what I saw, maybe because I feel like a part of it, it was kind of fringe bands on the fringe, or like, maybe that's the wrong word, but just not so much that are like, the guy that I saw talking the most trash, I don't see him at very many shows.
Right. Because a lot of people,
I've gone to Lee's Liquor Lounge
Sure.
shows.
Yep.
Me and Eric just went to the Hexagon to see Day Zero play.
Right.
I'm going to see Hate Beast tomorrow.
Right.
So it's not as if I only go and see those types of shows.
Right.
I'm at a bunch of shows.
Unfortunately, those people are that way. They stay in their own little group, and
then they're blaming us for being that way.
Exactly.
And I go to all these shows.
Exactly.
Not them.
That's exactly what it is. They didn't see you at the show because they weren't there themselves. That's the sad truth about it.
Fair.
And what's really true is that Bill is, putting it out there, to get people at the shows. And, he's not only pushing the names of all these people that he believes in, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to get everybody to come together and show some love for it. Because let's be honest, man, there's no promotion like there used to be. There's no flyers out there. It's all Facebook events. It's all, things like that.
Well, we still flyer. That's how I actually met you.
There you go.
If you remember.
Yep.
Eric and I were outside flying a show.
Yep. At Lee's Liquor Lounge.
At Lee's Liquor Lounge, a show
Yep.
that apparently we're one side
Impaler.
don't go to.
Impaler.
And I've been there a couple times. And I mean, and that's the point is we try to really be supportive of other bands that have been supportive of us.
Sure.
You know, I'd never met the guys in Day Zero, but they had bought a bunch of our merch. They had been spreading our name online, and they were
Yeah.
talking positive about us, and they seemed like cool cats. So Eric and I had nothing to do one night. We went
Right.
out and saw their show, became friends with the guys, and
See, now that's another end of the spectrum
because
too.
we're so
Is
yeah.
Mike Bloodfist and Matt and those guys there? They're like another little section. It's like we're all in little towns around the city. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's a click here, a click here, a click here. That night there really didn't seem like a lot of that.
we're all metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of metal you are,
Right.
it
It's
matters
metal.
partially
Yep.
sometimes for shows or
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
But I think the Metties, what that's supposed to do is make it so like all those lines are erased for one
Right.
night.
I think the year two should really, do that. You know what I mean? Like maybe extend invitations to those people that aren't, that, you know what I mean? Like we want you in attendance to be here.
I would love to see
You
Blue
know?
Felix play the Metties. Is that just me, or wouldn't that be like kind of the dopest thing ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be.
I mean, if they
It would be
if
really
they
cool,
finished
but-
out the night like with like shooting sparks out and
Right.
stuff. I mean, like it would be
Right.
cool. It'd be really
Yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of bands, man. Nuisance would be cool to see on something like that as
Yeah.
well, you know?
Yeah.
Bands that-
Impaler.
yeah, Impaler would be really cool. Now, see, that's a band that would be a Lifetime Achievement Award. Bill Lindsay's been around for fucking...
For sure.
The
Right.
dude's albums were in movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, his shit was like in Trick or Treat, you know?
That first night that I met you was the first time we had saw them play live.
Right.
And that's
That guy is one of the coolest cats ever. We were at a funeral, and he walked up to me, and I had been in between bands, and he asked me, he's like, so did you quit? And I'm like, the thought had come across my mind, you know? And he's like, I don't think you should. I think it's a bad idea. I think you're a great front man. You should continue playing. And I still credit it to him this day that I'm still a part-timer because of Bill Lindsay, you know what I mean? But I love playing still, you know what I mean?
what's cool about him is like his band's super successful
Right.
around here.
Yeah.
But he's a part timer.
Yeah.
He has like another like real
Yeah.
like I saw that like documentary
Yeah,
about him. So that's,
full on job, dude.
So it doesn't matter like
Yeah.
what level of involvement you're
Right.
in. Like it's just, are you putting out a good
He
product?
he
Are you
still
dope? Are you a
he
good
still
band or not?
you know, he still tours. He still does shit
Yeah,
like
so
that, you know.
awesome.
So it's crazy. And that's that right there's a guy that, you know, would open doors to a lot of people outside of what you did this year. You know what I mean? And I
Mad
think
respect to those guys too. By
Yeah.
the way. We saw their live show and it was
right.
I mean, they made
Theatrical as fuck,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
And
We-
that
I talked to you about that. I mean,
dude,
they had,
that's not even that
paper-
wasn't even
painter's
it though.
plastic
That's
on the
not,
stage.
and that was the cool part about it, because the guy who I booked the show through, he looked at me and he goes, "Tell me they don't have blood." And I go, "They do." And he goes, "Jesus, you know, you better tell them they can't spray that shit all over." So I walked up to Bill and I go, "Bill, did you bring?" He goes, "We knew. Well, we cover everything already."
That's
And I
cool.
go, I went over to him. I go, "Dude, they cover everything already, but they cut all the blood out of it. So they had a little bit of blood, but not what they normally do. You know, they're
Oh, well, there was a little bit, yeah.
you know, guts and shit spraying everywhere.
So one of the coolest things ever was the band that played before them, Dumpster Juice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The fucking
He had a
cowbell, dude.
Yeah, that's Eric's future. But the coolest thing I ever saw was he had a
Rolling.
smiley face
Yeah.
drawn on his belly.
Dude.
But as the show got sweatier and sweatier for him, the smile started running, and
Yeah.
at the end of the show, the smile was like a frown.
Yeah.
It
Dude,
was
the,
like
the
smiley-
time after
Oh,
that, they
it's
played
so
a show
good.
for us, and he had the outline of his arm all the way around right there. So, you know, when he did the thing with his belly button
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit, it just goes pop, 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 pop as he's playing the beat
had
on
the
his
right spot
belly.
marked out.
Yeah, but it had it in his hand, and he was hitting it perfectly. It was like it was just setting right into the fucking lines. It was great. Or he writes Fatso across his shit all the time. He wrote
it's
Surly when they played Surly Fest. He had Surly around
I
his
was,
belly.
I was saying like if I ever had like a memorabilia
Yeah.
section of
Yeah.
stuff, whatever, I'd want that that wood
The
block.
cowbell, dude.
Yeah, the cowbell.
He's had that thing forever. It's got
That's
a
what someone
baby.
told me.
It's got a baby head on the top
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, man.
It just
The-
looks like it should belong in a rock collection.
Dude,
or
he used to
something.
come. He used to come. We used to do shows with them back in the day, and he'd come out in a fireman's outfit. I seen him in a
course he
wrestling
did.
wrestling singlet one time, and he had a big sock stuffed in his fucking
Of
trunks.
course
Man,
he
it was
did.
hilarious.
None of this
dude.
surprises me.
Hilarious.
It's so good.
So good. Absolutely, man. That's another band too.
Dude, shout out to Dumpster
Juice.
Juice
Yeah.
because I swear to God, like we had such a good time at their show. Like Langan was there with us. Too. Like we had an awesome time. Like
Yeah, they're a great
show.
band.
Yeah.
They're a great band for sure. Well, dude, I'm proud of you for doing this, man, and it means a lot that you took the time. It just being a part of it and being a guy who who you asked kind enough to ask to host it, man. I was very proud of the whole night. I was proud of how everybody conducted themselves from the very get-go. You know, people came in. Key thing, the Richard McDade guy and his kid.
Yep.
That was really cool because it was a last-minute thing. I asked you about it. You were like, absolutely. I put a small post out, and it grew into this big thing. And a lot of people came through and delivered a lot of shit. Even a promoter across town contacted me who's done, X-Fest and all these festivals. He said, I got a signed Slipknot, 8x10 that I want to give him. It was funny because he told me this big story and why he didn't hang it up on the wall, and he just let it all out there. And I'm just going, wow, dude, they must have really pissed you off. He's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm not going to hang it up on the wall, so I gave it away, And it was like the old school.
That guy's got Slipknot memorabilia. Give him my number.
Old school Slipknot one with all the old masks, and it's all signed by every one of them. Was really cool. So they ended up getting that and I think 30 shirts and 20 something, 27 discs or something.
Quite a bit. Yeah, I remember seeing him. I remember seeing he posted something about it, and I thought, it was like 18 or 20
to see
CDs.
500 bands in 365 days, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I completely forgot my tickets for them.
That's all right. I mean, I told them that they could come to any Lee show, and they'll be there tomorrow and in February as well. So if you're still willing to do that, I'm sure they'd take them anytime. Whatever shows you want to.
There's no expiration date on that offer, I don't think.
Yeah, I figured they'd just probably show up at the door.
Sure. And I could let them know, whatever you feel comfortable with letting them do or whatever. But very cool, man. And they were super appreciative of the whole thing and really nice folks.
Yeah, very
nice. And
that's like an uplifting part of the night too. Like it just.
Yeah,
it's cool. It was a really good thing what you guys did.
Dude, he didn't have to do it, and he blocked out time for it, and it was like perfect amount of time, and the way it all put together.
I still remember that part of the night.
Dude, I was choked up like a motherfucker. I honestly was, man. Just kind of relaying the story and everything, and being a father and knowing how that is, and I mean the kid's handicap. You know what I mean? For someone who's not able to play the music that we play or that we love. And to be into it, I mean, it soothes the kid, you know what I mean? Puts him to sleep. It makes him feel comfortable, And, his father really embraced that, and that was so killer for me. And to be able to do that for them and get them involved and have Bill, embrace that so much, and to be able to put it out to the scene, and everybody kind of came in on it. I mean, you guys delivered a shirt and CD for them, and I'll see them tomorrow, which is, people are still giving
awesome.
To that fact. That's so cool, and it speaks volumes about who we are as a community too. You know what I mean? That we embrace the people that are all about this music scene. So very, very cool, man. Thanks everybody for taking the time to come in, man. It was really cool. Had a good time. I know it's fucking getting late, but I appreciate it, dude, and it was a blast. And I'm looking forward to what happens with the Mettys in the future. And I see big things, man.
I hope you host again next year. I don't know. I mean, I can't. I hope Bill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no doubt it would be Greg again.
Langan's
we
gonna
can
host.
get Langan up there.
Yep. Langan's hosting next year.
You mean skimpier dress next year?
Yeah, boom boom.
I'm
In the
boom boom. I'm dress shopping with Langan next year.
Langan in the boom boom room. What's up? Yeah, come on. Shake it, mama. That'd be great.
She put her hood up right now for everyone to see.
That's awesome. Yeah,
50
just
Shades of Red.
That's good shit right there, man. So were you super, super uncomfortable? Was it just unbearable or what?
I write a blog. Does that say enough?
Right?
I read a blog, so I dressed like a princess for the night to show up and
That was good.
Nice. You look nice, Langan.
Yeah, you did. You look good.
Very nice.
You look good. Princess. All right. Well, yeah, we got one more band. What was it? Peaches?
Yeah. We forgot this. Yeah.
Can I just say, Peaches has one of my favorite live shows of all time.
We bought this for Langan.
Awesome. Well, tell me. How many times have you seen them, Langan?
I've seen Peaches 11 times now.
Where are they from?
I don't know.
It's a she.
Yeah, it's a she.
Beachville.
She sold me with the dancing vagina costumes.
Yeah.
The giant blow-up dick that she crawls through into the crowd.
That's pretty sweet.
This is the pre-party.
This is the pre-jam.
Honestly, even if you don't like her music, if Peaches comes anywhere near you, go see it because you will have the time of your freaking life.
Nice.
How are we fucking talking about Peaches right now? This is supposed to be a joke. All right.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Like I said, tomorrow night at Lee's Liquor Lounge, come down the 28th. We've got Day Zero, Hate Beast, Beastface, Kobaloy. That's Lee's Liquor Lounge. Let me see here. The following weekend is Winter Chaos down at Club Underground, My Zero, Mortificator, Promodol, Invidiosis, Kobaloy. Let's see here. That's next Friday. And then February 24th at Lee's Liquor Lounge, Black Flood Diesel, MC Rents, the Vault, TikTok, and Hex Vortices. Come check that out as well. You guys got the After the Burial show coming up soon?
Yes, sir. Thank you for mentioning.
What's the date on that one?
February 26th. It's Sunday night.
What's coming up?
Get there early.
What's coming up real quick for you, Bobby? You got a list full of them again.
The suit tomorrow.
The suit tomorrow. Overkill's coming up real soon, too.
February 18th.
That's coming up soon.
LeoPresents.com.
Yeah, there you go.
LeoPresents.com.
Oh,
LeoPresents.com.
That's awesome. How about you guys? How can they reach you guys? Tell me where they can reach you. Wait, you just cock block Langan. What's up?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Langan, tell them where they can reach your blog.
You can reach me at girlattherockshows.com.
I do a blog. I wear dresses.
I dress like a princess.
No, it's not. My name's Langan. I do a blog called Girl at the Rock Shows. Invite me to your show and I'll come talk about it and shit.
Word.
Now you do me.
That's awesome. Go ahead, DJ. What?
So buriedabove-ground official.com or facebook.com/buriedabove-ground, instagram.com/buriedabove-ground official. You know, all that stuff. There's more. Just Google us.
Google us. Tell me about the Royals.
Is Royals with a Z? Sometimes apostrophe, sometimes not. Just best way is just to go to YouTube, look up Royals with a Z. With a Z. Yes. We should be the first thing that comes up.
Right.
If not, search again. I don't know.
Try again. No, reload.
Bill, how can they get a hold of Bill?
I have the Metalsota on Facebook, and then I have metalsota.com too. Or most people I'm friends with on Facebook now, anyways, so
right,
they know how to get a hold of me.
Yeah, hit Bill up, man. Give him some ideas if you have some honest ideas and want to be kind and not a fucking dink like most people have been lately. Definitely hit him up. Give him some ideas, man. Everything helps. If Bill can make his show better, I'm sure he's open to that suggestion. So be polite, be kind. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate very much. 150 in the books. Let's listen to some Peaches and shit.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual